Hello everyone, this is Yamin and welcome to Laravel Hospital Management System project. Now in this tutorial series we are going to see how we can create a hospital management system in Laravel. So before we dive into creating our Laravel project, let me just give you a quick overview what we will have in this project. So first of all, we will have two type of user. One will be regular user and another one will be the admin. So let me just talk about the user first. Now user will have a login and registration option. So user can register and also can log in, and over here at the down you can see make an appointment option over here. So if the user is not logged in, they can make an appointment, and also if the user is logged in, they can also make an appointment. But what will be the benefit of the logged in user? And that will be that if the user is logged in, then they will have a on extra field over here which will be called view appointment. So if the user click the view appointment, they will be able to see how many appointment they book, and user will also have the privilege to cancel or delete the appointment by their own. So that will be the benefit that the logged in user will get. And now let's talk about the admin, what admin can do in this hospital management project. So for admin dashboard, we'll use this template. Now on the left side we'll have some option for adding employee means regular staff or doctor, and admin will also be able to assign salary for the employee, and admin will also be able to update or delete all the employee. Now admin will also require one more option, which is book appointment like the user. Now let's say if someone called a hospital, then admin should have the ability to book a appointment. So admin will also have the option to create a appointment. And also if someone book an appointment from this user page, then admin will also be able to see all the appointments and confirm or cancel their appointment as well. So this will be everything about this project. So if you want to learn Laravel or create a Laravel project for your university, this is the perfect project for you. I would highly recommend you to follow this tutorial series. Now before creating our Laravel project, we need to have XAMPP and Composer installed in our PC. Now for installing XAMPP, you just need to search for XAMPP download, and if you just go to the first link, you can see over here a lot of download link over here. You can see download for Windows and Linux, and I would also always recommend you to always download the most latest version from here. If you just click download, then it will automatically start downloading, and the installation is really simple. You just need to click next and then finish. So once you download XAMPP, you need to download Composer. For creating Laravel project, just search for Composer download, and if you just go to this link Composer and just click this download link over here, and then over here you will see a Composer setup.exe. If you click it, it will start download automatically, and then installing it is also really simple. Just click next and finish. Okay, so once you download XAMPP and Composer, you are ready to create your Laravel project. So I am going to create my Laravel project. So for this, let's go to our file, and I am going to create a Laravel project inside my new volume F, and it will be inside this YouTube folder. And over here at the top, I'm just going to say over here cmd and press enter. Now creating Laravel project, we need to just give a command. So we will say Composer, then create, then this minus sign, we will say project, then we will say Laravel, then slash Laravel, and after this we need to give our project name. You can name it anything you want, since we are creating hospital management system, so we will say hospital. So if you press enter, it will start creating our Laravel project. It will like take 5 to 10 minutes to create our project. So here you can see our project is created, it's done. So let me just close this one, and over here in the YouTube folder you can see we have another folder called hospital. So if you go inside, you will see a lot of file over here like this. So here we are just going to say again cmd and press enter, and then in the cmd we will say php artisan serve and press enter. So here you can see a link. So let me just copy this, Control C, and I'll paste it over here, Control V, and press enter. So here we can see this is our Laravel project. Now let me just open our Laravel project using Sublime Text. So for this tutorial I'm going to use Sublime Text. You can use any editor you want. You can use Visual Studio or Atom, anything. So for opening our project, you need to click File, then we have to click Open Folder, and then we'll go to local disk F, then we'll go to YouTube, and here you can see hospital. Just click hospital and click select folder. So here you can see our project is open. Here you can see hospital. Now we'll directly go to .env, and over here you can see our database name is Laravel. So we are going to change it. So let's say our database name will be hospital, and the username will be root, and the password will be null. You can give the database name anything you want. We'll give hospital. So let's save it now, and now we'll create this database. So for this, first of all you need to have your XAMPP started, and now we'll go to our phpMyAdmin, which is this one. Then we are going to click new, and here you can see we have to give a database name over here. So we'll say over here hospital, and we'll click create. So here you can see we have a new database called hospital. So now we set up our Laravel project and our database. Now in this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can create a registration and login for both user and the admin. So for this, for creating registration and login, we are going to use Laravel JSTeam. We are going to use those commands. You can see over here some command. After this command, at the fifth step we will make some changes in our table, and the last command will be php migrate. So let's get started. So first of all we will go to our project directory again, and we'll go to hospital, and over here we are going to open another cmd, and here you can see here our first command will be composer require laravel / JSTeam. So let me just write it over here, composer require Laravel / JSTeam, and if you press enter it will install the require file. So it will take like 5 minutes. So you can see that all the necessary package is installed. Now we need to write our second command, which is this one, php JSTeam clone install library. So I'm going to say over here php artisan JSTeam, then this clone will say install library, live WIR, and if we press enter it will again install some necessary files. So here you can see library is also installed. Now here you can see please execute npm install and npm run dev over here. So if you go to our notepad, you can see over here our command npm install and then npm run dev. So now we are going to say npm install and press enter. It will take like 5 minutes to install it. After npm install we'll say npm run dev, and we'll press enter. Now this command will take like 10 minutes to install. npm run dev is also done. Now if you go to our notepad, here you can see our fifth step is changes in the table. So let's go back to our code, and here you can see we'll directly go to database, and inside database migration, and inside migration you can see a lot of table over here. We'll directly go to our user table, which is this one. So here you can see we have a name, email, and password, and some other field. So we are going to add 3 more field over here. So let me just copy one of them, Control C. So after email we'll have user phone number, address, and the user type. User type means it will be regular user or admin. So let's just first give phone number. Let's say just phone, and let's say it will be nullable. We'll give this arrow sign. We'll say nullable, and let me just copy this nullable, Control C, and paste it over here. Now after phone we'll have address, and after address we'll have let's say user type, and let's say its default value will be 0. Let's say 0 means we'll consider 0 means regular user, and on means admin. So let's save it, Control S. Now our fifth step will be php artisan migrate, this command. So let's go back to our command prompt, and we'll say php artisan migrate, and if we press enter, it will migrate all the table in our database. So here you can see all the table is migrated. Now if we go to our database, let me just refresh over here, and here you can see our hospital table. If we click plus, here you can see we have a lot of table inside this database, and if you go inside the user table, you can see name, email, phone, address, user type, and every other data over here. So now let me just also show you one more thing. If we refresh over here, we'll see a login and registration option over here. So here you can see login and register option. So if you click register, you can see name, email, and password field over here. So we are going to add two more field over here, which will be phone and address. So for making changes over here, we need to go back to our code, and then we have to go to resource, and inside resource views, and inside views you can see a auth folder over here. Then inside auth you can see login and register. So we'll directly go to register.blade.php, and if you go down, you can see over here email and password field and name field. So let me just copy this one, this name field, Control C, and I'll paste it over here two times, Control V. Now this time instead of name we'll say phone. So let me just select everywhere. You just need to click Control, and if you just right click everywhere, it will automatically select. So now we'll be able to change every name at once. We'll say over here phone, this name equal to phone. So after phone we'll have address. So let me just select again, Control, and just left click on them, and we'll say here address. So if we save it now, and if we refresh, here we can see we have two more field right now, phone and address. Now we also need to make some changes so that we can send phone and address in our database. So for it, so now we need to go to app, then action, and inside action you can see Fortify, and here you can see create new user.php. So over here Laravel actually create the user, and here you can see some input field, name, email, and password. So we are going to add phone and address over here. So let me just copy this one, Control C, and I'll paste it two times. So instead of email we'll say phone, and inside this input we'll say phone. Let me just explain. Now this phone, this variable is actually coming from register.blade.php. Here you can see our name equal to phone, and this phone is actually coming from the database. Here you can see phone. So this phone is actually this one. So after phone we have address and address. So let me say address again. So let's save it now, Control S. Now we need to go inside app, then models. Here you can see models, and inside model we have user.php. So we need to add, we only have name, email, and password field over here. So we will add phone and address field here as well. If you don't give it, it will create some problem. So Control V. So we'll say here phone and address, and let's save it now, Control S, and let me just refresh here, and let's keep the name. Let's say name equal to user, and email equal to user@gmail.com. let's give a phone number, and let's give a address, let's say, and let's give a password, and if you click register, it will register our account. So here you can see we are now in our dashboard. Now if you go to our database, and if you just refresh here, you can see we have a name, email, then user, address, and our user type is 0 by default, and which we mention over here. You can see by default its value will be 0. So let me just log out from here and log in again and register again for admin. So if you click register, then we'll say here admin, then email will be admin@gmail.com. let's keep a phone number and address, let's say random things, let's give the password, and if you click register, here you can see the dashboard. Now we are going to make some changes in the database. So let me just refresh now. So here you can see user type is by default 0 for admin as well. So now we'll click edit, and instead of user type 0, we'll say user type on. So now we'll go down, and here you can see go option, we'll click go, So now here you can see that the user type is changed to on. So now let's go back to our code again. Now we are going to make some changes in our code so that if the user login, then it will take us to user dashboard, and if the admin login, then it will take us to admin dashboard. So for it we'll go to app, then inside app we'll have providers. If you click providers, you can see over here route service providers. Just click on it, and then here you can see public const home equal to dashboard. So instead of dashboard, let's say we'll say here home. You can say anything, you can say redirect or anything you want, so we'll just say home. Then we'll go to our web.php routes, then web.php, and we'll create this route in the web.php. So here we are just going to create another route. So we'll say route, then this double clone, then first bracket, and inside two double quotation we'll say slash home, then we'll give a comma to third bracket, and inside it we'll say home controller, then double clone, we'll say class, then we have to give a comma, and after this we'll give a two single quotation, and we need to mention the function name, and we'll say here function name will be redirect, let's say. So let's save it. Now we also don't have this home controller, so we need to create this home controller. So for it, let's go back to our command prompt again, and for creating a controller we just need to say php artisan make, then this clone controller, then we'll say home controller, and if we press enter it will create a controller. Okay, it's giving me an error. Okay, here you can see route. Okay, we need to write over here get. So we'll say here get, and I also forgot to give a semicolon over here. So let's save it now, Control S. Now let's go back to our command prompt, and let me say over here again php artisan make colon controller home controller, and if we press enter you can see here controller created successfully, the message. And if you go to our controller, if you go to app, then http, then controllers, here you can see home controller.php. Now we also need to mention this home controller in our web.php at the top. So at the top we need to say use app backslash http, then backslash controllers backslash it will be home controller. So let's save it now, Control S. Now we'll go to our home controller and create this redirect function. So let's go to home controller.php, and here we're going to say public function redirect, and inside it we'll give 2-second bracket, and here we are going to first check if there is any auth id. So first we'll give a if condition, then we'll say auth double clone, we'll say id. So if there is any auth id, then we'll have this condition, and let's also write a else condition else, and inside else we'll just say return redirect, then to first bracket this arrow sign will say return redirect back. So over here inside this if condition, if there is any auth id, it means if there is any user trying to log in, then we'll check what is their user type. I mean here if you go to database, here you can see we have the user type 0 for regular user and on for admin. So we'll first check their user type. So we'll say now inside this if condition we are going to say auth, then double clone, we'll say user, which is our table name, then we'll give two first bracket, then we'll give this arrow sign, then we'll say user type, which is our column name, and we'll say if this equal, let's say if this equal on, then it will take us to this dashboard. Let's say return view, and inside it we'll say dashboard. And this dashboard is actually if you go to our resource, here you can see dashboard. This is the dashboard that we see after we log in. So after this if condition we'll give another condition which is else, and over here the thing is if the user type is not 0, it means if the user type is on. Here you can see our user type is 0 and on. So if the user type is not 0, it means the user type is on. If the user type is on, then it will return a different view. So it will say return, then let's say return view, we'll say let's say admin dot home. So let me just save it now, Control S. And one more thing, that is we are using auth and also the user table, so we also need to mention them at the top. So let me just copy this, use illuminate http/request. So we are going to say use illuminate backslash, we are going to say support, then backslash, it will be packets, then backslash, it will be auth. And after this we also need to mention the table name, which is the user table, which is, so we'll say app, then backslash, we'll say models, backslash user. If you go to our app, then you can see inside app we have models, and here you can see user.php, which we just mentioned over here. So let's save it now and let's go back to our browser, and let me just log out from here. Now admin part isn't complete. Now I'm just trying to show you that user logging is working. So if you click login, and if you give the user email and the password, and if you click login, so here you can see in the URL before it was redirect, now it is home. So this is the user dashboard. We'll make some changes over here, but first let's create our admin dashboard. But before that, I also like to mention some more things about this dashboard. Now this dashboard is actually if you go to our views, and inside views you can see dashboard.blade.php, everything is actually coming from here. So actually this two line, this X app layout and this closing is the most important line. Let me just remove this one, and if you just save it and if you just refresh, here you can see we have the dashboard and the logout option over here. So I'm just showing you this because after a few minutes I will be working with this one. So now let's just create a admin home. So let's go to our home controller.php, and here you can see we are returning a view admin.home. Now we do not have this admin.home. So first of all we will go to our resource, then views, just right click on it, and then we'll create a folder, click new folder, and we'll say here admin and press enter. And inside this admin folder we're going to right click and click new file, and we are going to say home.blade.php and Control S, then save. And over here I'm just going to copy some code from the, let's say from the dashboard.blade.php. Here you can see dashboard.blade.php. I'm just going to copy these two lines, Control C and Control V. Now inside this we are just going to mention a h1 tag. Let's say inside this we'll say this is admin dashboard, and let me just save it now, and let me just log out from here, and let's click login again. And if we say admin@gmail.com, and if we give the password and click login, you can see over here a message called this is the admin dashboard. Now here you can see in the background the color is different, and in the future for making this tutorial we also don't need this logo and this dashboard written over here, so we are going to remove it. For it we need to go to our code, and then we have to go to our navigation menu.blade.php, and here you can see that here you can see a navigation link over here. So let me just remove this, and if you go up you can see a logo written over here. So let me also remove this. So if we save it now and if we refresh, these two things will be gone. So let's refresh. So as you can see there is no navigation and the logo over here. Now let's remove this color. So for remove this color we need to go to layouts, then we have to go to app.blade.php, and if you go down you can see that there is at line 24 there is a class mention over here, mean is bg gray 100. So if you just remove this class and save it, and if we refresh the color will be gone on the from the background. So this was all. Now let me just make another changes. Now if you go to our home controller.php, here you can see you are returning the dashboard view for user. Let me just do it the same way that we did for the admin. We'll say instead of dashboard we'll say user.home. so let's go to our views, and inside the views we are going to create another folder. We'll say user, and press enter, and inside user let's again right click, then click new file. We are going to say home.plate.php and save it, Ctrl S and save. Now let me just copy the code from the admin home. So let me just copy this, Ctrl C, and I'll paste it over here, and we'll say here user home. So let's save it now, and let's check if it's working or not. So let's log out and let's log in. Now we'll log into user dashboard. So let's go to user, give the password, login. So here you can see currently we are in user dashboard. Now in this tutorial I am going to import a template in our project. So this is the template we are going to import in our project. So I'm going to keep this link in the description so that you can download it from there. So if you want to see the live demo, you just need to click over here, live demo, and then you will be able to see how our template looks. So we are going to download this template. So for download this template, we just need to click over here, download, and it will automatically start a download over here. So you can see over here that a zip file is downloaded. And so first of all you need to extract the zip file that you downloaded. So you just need to right click on it, and then you will see over here extract here. If you click it, it will extract this zip file. So you can see the zip file is extract. So we need to go inside this, and here you can see asset and HTML. So from here we just need to copy this HTML and this asset, both of them. So let me just copy it, copy. So after you copy this, you need to go to your project. Let me just go to my project directory. So here you can see hospital. So we'll go inside hospital, then you can see a public folder. We need to go inside public folder, and we need to paste all the file that we copied from here. So I'm just going to paste everything inside this public folder. So paste. So here you can see two new folder, asset and HTML. Now if you go to a Sublime Text, then and if you go to the public folder, you will see two more folder, asset and HTML. Now inside HTML you can see index.html. Now all the template that if you download from internet, everything is start from index.html. So I'm just going to copy everything inside this index.html. So Control A, Control C, then we'll go to our resource, then we'll go to views, then users, and inside users we have home.plate.php, and over here you can see accept layout, and we are going to remove this for now. We'll use it after a little while. So for now we'll just remove it and paste the code that we copied before. So if we save it now, this is the code for our this template. So what I want is that when someone go inside our project, I want the user to see this view first. So for it, let's go back to our route first. We'll go to route, then web.php, and let me just copy this, Ctrl C, and I will say over here Ctrl V. So now in order to show this template to the root view, we need to say over here only slash, and in the home controller we need to mention a function name, let's say index. Let's save it, Ctrl S, and here you can see we have another route get. We need to remove this, so let's remove it. Now let's save it. Now we'll go to our home controller, app controller, home controller, and inside it we are going to say public function index, and here we are just going to return a simple view. So we will just say return view, and we are going to say user dot home. So if we save it now, and if we refresh over here, so here you can see our template perfectly. So first of all we need to fix this login and registration option, because so that our user can log in and register. So let's fix this first. Let's go back to our code again, and if we go down at line 86, you can see over here we have login slash register. So let me just make separate option for login and register. So let me just remove this. So now let me just copy this li, Ctrl C, then Ctrl V, and over here instead of login we'll say register, and if we save it and if we refresh over here, you can see we have a now login and register a separate option. Now if you click login, it doesn't take us to our login, or if you click register, it doesn't take us to our register page. So for it we need to write inside this href, we just need to give 2-second bracket, and inside it we'll say route and 2 first bracket, 2 single quotation, and if we just say login, it will take us to login page. Now Laravel give us this option. If we just say this route login, and if someone click the login button, it will take us to the login page. The same goes for the register as well. If you just say over here route and inside to first bracket, if we say register and if we save it, so and if we refresh over here, and if you now click this login button, it will take us to login page, and if you click this register button, it taking us to the register page. Now let me just try to log in from here. So if you click login, and let's keep the user and let's keep the password, and if you click login, it will take us to the same page. Here you can see because if we go to our home controller, here you can see at the redirect function for user we are returning this user.home view, and our index view is also user.home. If you check over here at the top, you can see we have /home at the top. So somehow we need to do something so that user can understand that he is logged in. So for it, let's go back to our code again, and we'll go to our home.blade.php again, and before this login, we are going to give a if condition. We'll say at the rate of if, then inside first bracket we'll say route double clone hash, inside to first bracket we'll say login. If there is any login, then we'll say at the rate of, we'll check the auth, and then inside let's say here inside this auth, now if for this auth condition, let's say user is logged in. So and if there is no auth, or if there is no user is logged in, then we'll go to else condition. We'll say else, we'll go to else condition. So if there is no logged in user, then it will show us login and register, but if there is any logged in user, it will show us this message. So we also need to in this if condition and auth condition. So we'll say after this register list, we'll say at the rate of first we need to in the auth, we'll say auth. Now we'll say at the rate of int if. So if we save it and let's refresh here, so here you can see user is logged in. So we are not seeing the login or registration option over here, but this isn't right. We need a logout option so that the user can log out. So for it, let's go back to our code again. Now we'll go to our dashboard.blade.php, and here you can see two line. This two line is actually responsible for creating a logout option. So let me just copy it, and we'll paste it inside this auth condition. So let me just remove this h on, and we'll say Ctrl V and Ctrl S. So if you now refresh over here, you can see here a logged out option for user. If you click this button, you can see logout option, and if you click profile, you can see some other option for changing password, and you can, there is also a delete account option over here. Now this is actually created by the Laravel. So now if we log out from here, click log out, you will be able to see the login and register option over here. So now the main part is done. So now let's just structure our template, or you can say home.blade.php, whatever you want. So we are going to divide this page code so that we can simply understand those code really easily. So let me just show you here. If you go to our template, here you can see all the doctor images over here. So let's find the doctor code part. So here you can see this is the doctor section. If we just remove it, let me just cut it from here, Ctrl X, and let me just give an equal sign over here, and if we save it now and let's just refresh, so here you can see equal sign, the doctor part is gone. So we are going to create another file inside this user folder. So we are just going to right click over here and we are going to click new file. Then here we are going to say doctor.blade.php and let's save it, Ctrl S and save. So we are going to paste everything that we copied, Ctrl V, Ctrl S. Now we are going our home.blade.php again, and instead of this we are going to say at the rate of include, and inside it we are going to say, now you can see our doctor.blade.php is actually inside user folder. So we say user dot doctor. So if we save it now, Ctrl S, and if we refresh, so here you can see the doctor part is back. So we are going to do the same for some other part, latest news and make an appointment. So let me just make a separate option for make an appointment. So let's go back to our code again, and this time we will copy the appointment part. So here you can see this is the appointment part, make an appointment. So let me just copy this part, Ctrl X and Ctrl S. Let me just keep it, let's say something, and if we save it now and if we refresh, this appointment part will be gone. So here you can see there is no appointment part. You can see the 555 here. So we're going to create an appointment file inside user folder. So click new file, then we'll say about here appointment.blade.php and save it, Ctrl S, save, Ctrl V, Ctrl S. Now we will go to home.blade.php, and here we are just going to say at the rate of include. So we are going to say user dot appointment. So if we save it now and if we refresh here and if we go down, here you can see make an appointment is still here, and let's just remove this part. We do not require this part, so let me just remove this part, Ctrl S, and let's refresh. Okay, now this is all. Now if you want to like have the other part like latest news or this footer in different file, you can do it as well. I already show you how you can do it. Now let me just have this latest news in different file as well. So this time I am just going to copy everything for the latest part, Ctrl X, and then we'll create a folder for latest. Let's say over here latest.blade.php. So Ctrl S, save, Ctrl V, Ctrl S. Now we'll go to we'll just say at the rate of include, and then we'll say user dot latest, save it, and let's refresh. So you can see the latest part is still here. So this is all for this tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to add a admin template in our project. So let me just first log in and go to our admin dashboard. So if we just say over here admin and give the password and click login, it will take us to admin dashboard. So here you can see this is our admin dashboard and there is nothing over here. We just have a logout option over here. You can see profile and logout. So we are going to have a admin template in this page. So we are going to use this template. This template is called corona free. So we are going to import this admin template in our project. So if you go to this website bootstrap-.com, you will see this template, and you can download this template for free. So I'll give you the download link in the description box so that you can download it from there. So if you are following this hospital management system tutorial series, then I would recommend you to download this template, because then it will be easier for you to follow my tutorial. So in order to download this template, all you need to do is that click download option over here, and it will take you to another page, to a GitHub page, and over here you can see this is the template. So in order to download it, you need to click the code, and if you just click download zip, it will start downloading a zip file. Over here you can see, so here you can see that our template is downloaded. So we need to go to the download folder. Here you can see the template, corona.free bootstrap admin template. So first of all we need to extract this template. So you just need to right click over here and then click extract here. So here you can see extract is done. You can see a new folder over here. So if you go inside, you can see documentation and template. So we'll directly go to template. So inside template you can see asset. If you go inside asset, you can see some css, and here you can see pages, and inside partial maybe there is some more css or footer actually. So we are going to copy every file inside this template folder. So let me just copy. Now we need to paste this code in our project public folder. So let me just go to our project, which is this one. Hospital is our project name, and now we'll go to our public folder. And if you go to public folder, you can see there is already a asset folder over here. So here you can see in the template we also have the asset folder. So what we are going to do is that in our project public folder we are going to create another folder over here, and we'll name it admin. And inside this admin folder we are going to paste all the file that we copied. Now here you can see all the file or folder that we copied is now inside this admin folder. So now if we go to our code, and if we go to the public folder, here you can see admin folder, and if you go inside admin folder, here you can see all that file asset, node modules, page. Now we'll directly go to index.html, because if you download any template from internet or anywhere, that template always start with the index file. So for it, let me just first of all we'll copy everything that we have in this index.html. So Ctrl A, Ctrl C. Now we'll go to our resource, and here you can see admin folder, and inside admin you can see home.blade.php, and here you can see xapp layout and the closing of xapp layout, and inside it you can see this is admin dashboard. So this xapp layout is actually responsible for our this profile and logout option, and here you can also see this is admin dashboard. So what we are going to do is that we are going to paste all the code that we copied from index.html. So Ctrl V, Ctrl S, and if we refresh now over here, you will see some view but without any design. So here you can see some logo and everything else over here, but there is no css or design, because before we create a admin folder and we paste all the template file or folder inside this admin folder. So if we go to our home.blade.php, here you can see link is equal to href asset. Now before this asset we need to say admin slash. So let me just select every asset. So for it you need to click Ctrl, and if you just left click, then it will automatically select. Let me just select every href, and if you go down you can see there are some more href over here, and here you can also see for images there are also some assets, or you can say source. Now we'll just say over here admin, then we'll give slash. So here you can see everywhere is changed. Here you can see everywhere is admin slash. So let's save it. Now we'll go down, and at the end you can see that there are also some skip source over here. You can see skip source is equal to asset. So let me also select over here as well, and once we are done selecting every asset, we'll just say admin slash. So let's save it, Ctrl S, and if we refresh now over here, you can see the dashboard. Now here you can see there is no logout option over here, but we'll fix it later. But first of all, now let me just simplify our admin dashboard. Before we'll have the navbar, the sidebar, and also the body part in different file. So let me just show you. We'll go back to our code, and here you can see there is a lot of code over here. Now it is really tough. If we want to change anything, we should actually have them in different files, so that we can understand our code really easily. So let me just first let's have our navbar on different page. So here you can see at the line 176 our navbar started from here. So let me just copy it from here, and our navbar end at the line 369 over here. You can see slash navbar, so it ended over here. So let me just cut it from here, Ctrl X. So if we save it now, and if we just refresh over here, the navbar will be gone. So since the navbar is not here, you can see the logout option over here right now. So what we are going to do is that we will create another file inside our admin. So let's right click on it, then click new file, and here we are going to say navbar.blade.php. Let's say Ctrl S, save, and inside it we are going to paste all the code that we copied. Let's save it now, and now we'll go to our home.blade.php again, and here we are just going to say at the rate of include, and inside it we are going to say admin dot, we'll say navbar. So if we save it, so now here you can see we said include admin dot navbar. It means it actually calling this navbar file, or you can say it's actually inheriting the navbar.blade.php. so if you now refresh over here, you will see the navbar like before. So here you can see, after this now we are going to copy the sidebar, then we'll copy the body part. So let me just copy the sidebar first. So if you go up here, you can see it's written sidebar.html. so let me just copy this nav from here, and we'll copy up until this documentation part. So Control X. Now if we save it and if we refresh, here you can see there is no sidebar over here. So let me just go back to our code, and we'll create another file inside admin folder. We'll say sidebar.blade.php, and let's save it. Control S, save, and we are going to paste all the code that we copied. Okay, so let's save it now. Control S. Now we'll go to home.blade.php, and again we are just going to say at the rate of include, and inside it we are going to say admin dot sidebar. So let's save it. Control S, and if we refresh now, you can see all the sidebar is back. Now let's do the same for the body as well, and we'll also fix this part as well, but it will be at the end. So let's go back to our code again, and this time we'll copy the body part. So it started from line 40 on, so let me just copy everything from here. Okay, so let's copy it. Control X, and Control S. Now if we refresh, the body will be empty. You can see there is nothing in the body. So let's go back to our code, and inside admin folder we'll say new file. We'll say body.blade.php. Control S, then save, and inside it we are going to paste every code. Then we'll go to home.blade.php. we'll say at the rate of include, and we'll say admin dot body. Save it. Control S, and let's refresh. So here you can see the body part is back. Now let's go and let's fix our logout option. Now if we go back to our code again, and if we go at the top of our home.blade.php, you can see that this is the part which is responsible for creating the logout option. So we are just going to copy this two line of code, control X, and now we'll go to our navbar.blade.php, and here you can see a logout option from the template. So we are going to remove this, and we are going to have our own logout option. So let's go to our navbar.blade.php. Then we need to find this Henry Klein. So let's go back, and here you can see Henry Klein. It started from here. This list started from here, and this li indent, let me check indent over here. So let's remove it, and over here we are just going to say this. Control V. We are going to say this xapp layout, close xapp layout. If we save it and if we refresh now, here you can see our logout option for admin. Now you can also change the design if you want. So here you can see some white background color. If you want to change its color, then you have to go back to your code, and then you have to go to navigation menu .blade.php, and at the top you can see nav x data, and here there is a class mentioned over here. If you just remove this class, and if we save it now and if we refresh, you can see there is no background color right now. So there is also a logout option. Now let's check if the logout works. If you click logout, okay, it taking us to this page. Now in this tutorial we are going to add doctor's details from the admin dashboard. So let's go and first log into our admin dashboard. So we are going to give the admin email and the password, and if we click login, so here you can see this is our admin dashboard. So first of all we'll directly go to this sidebar option, and we're going to make some changes so that we can we will have an option so that we can import doctor's data in our table. So let's go back to our code, and here you can see resource, then we'll go to views, and you can see admin, and inside admin we have sidebar.blade.php. So here you can see that we have a lot of option in the sidebar. So here you can see the sidebar started with dashboard and ended with documentation. So we're just going to keep only on list over here. So here you can see the dashboard, it started from here, the list. So let me just remove everything, and we'll just keep this only the last one, documentation. So let's save it now, and if we refresh, here we can see only the documentation part. So in the documentation, let me just remove this href, and instead of documentation we're going to say add doctors. And if we save it now, and if we refresh, you can see add doctors option over here. So we're going to say inside this href we're going to mention a route. So we'll give 2 second bracket, and inside it we'll say url, and we're going to give 2 single quotation, and then we'll say let's say add underscore doctor underscore view. So first of all we need to create a view, we need to create some input field so that we can upload or insert doctor's data in our database. So let's save it now, and we'll go to our routes, then web.php, then we'll create this url. So let me go to our web.php, and here I'm just going to copy this route, control C, then control V, and here in this gate we are going to say add underscore doctor underscore view, and instead of home controller we're going to say admin controller, since we want to upload data from the admin dashboard. And we also need to give the function name. Let's say here let's say only add view, or you can say upload view. So let's go with the add view. So let's save it, control S. Now first of all we'll create this admin controller. So let's open the cmd, and for creating admin controller we just need to say php artisan make clone controller, then admin controller, and if we press enter it will create a controller. You can see controller created successfully. If we now go to our app, then http, then controllers, here you can see admin controller. So let's go to our admin controller, and here we're just going to say public function and add view, which is our function name in the web.php, and here we are just going to return a view. So we'll say return view, and inside it we're going to mention a view. So we'll just say admin dot let's say add underscore doctor. So we'll create a file add doctor.blade.php inside our admin folder. So let's save it, and now we'll go to our admin folder. Here you can see inside view we have our admin folder, and we'll just right click over here, then click new file, and here we are going to say add underscore doctor dot blade dot php. So save it, control S, then save. And here let me just copy some code from our home.blade.php. Now this home.blade.php is actually this total view. So let me just add this css and this skip part in the other file just we did in the previous tutorial. So let me just create another file over here. So I'll click new file, then I'm just going to say css.blade.php and save it, control S, save. And we're going to go to home.blade.php, and I'm just going to copy everything from this head. So let me just copy it, the cut it, control X, and I'm going to paste everything in the css.blade.php. So control V, control S, and in the home.blade.php inside head we are going to say at the rate of include, then admin dot css. Let's save it, and we're going to do the same for the script part as well. So let me cut the script as well. Control X, and again we'll create another folder, new file with script dot plate dot php. Save it. Control S, then save, and I'm going to paste every skip code. So we'll save it now, and we'll go to home controller, and again we'll say at the rate of include, and inside it we are going to say admin dot skip. Okay, I did a spelling mistake. It will be admin, and let me go top. Okay, we also need to give a single quotation over here. So let's save it, and let me check if everything is fine. So let's refresh. Okay, so everything is fine. Now let's go back to our code again, and this time what we are going to do is that we are going to copy everything from the home.blade.php. So Control A, Control C, and we are going to paste this code inside our add doctors.blade.php. So paste it over here, and if we save it now, let me just remove this admin.body part. So if we remove it, and we'll save it, and this time let's refresh again, and if you click the add doctor, you will see okay, admin controller does not exist. So let me go to our web.php, and at the top we need to add the admin controller. Control V, and we'll say admin. So let's save it, and now let's refresh. So here you can see this is the actually doctor view. At the top you can see add underscore doctor underscore view. So here we are going to create some input field so that we can upload doctor's data in the database. So let's go back to our code, and now let me just show you one thing. If you just write h on, and inside h on, let's say here add doctor, and if we save it, and if we refresh here, you cannot see any add doctor text over here. The thing is, if we go to our admin then never.plate.php, and at the top you can see there is a div class container fluid page body wrapper. This is a class for this template. So if you want to show anything inside the body, uh, then we have to give this div class over here, otherwise we won't be able to see anything in the body part. So if we just give this div over here, and indeed if we save it now, and if we refresh, you will be able to see the add doctor over here. You can see at the top add doctor. So whatever design you want to make, you have to write everything in this div. So let me just have another div over here, and inside this div I'm just going to say class is equal to container, and let me just save it, and here we are just going to have a form, and in this form we'll have some input field for doctor. So let me just say form, and then let's just say another div, and inside this div we are going to have some label and input field. So let's say here label, so let's say it will be doctor name, and we also need an input field for doctor. So let's say input so input type will be text, and name equal to, let's say name equal to name, and you can also have placeholder if you want. Let's say placeholder equal to write the name, and if we save it now, and if we refresh, here you can see it's look like this, and if you type anything, you can see that the text color is white, so that's why we cannot see it. So what we are going to do is that we'll just mention a class over here, sorry, we'll just mention a style over here, and we'll say color, it will be let's say black. You can have any color you want. So save it, and let's refresh, and here you can see the text color is now black. Now let's just have this inside the middle so that it will look good then. So here you can see classical row container. So we are going to say here align, it will be center, and okay, let's save it and let's refresh. So it is in the center, and let's also say here inside let's mention the style, and we'll say padding. Let's say padding top, it will be 50 px. Save it and let's refresh. Okay, there is a little bit gap over here, you can see. Okay, let's increase the gap as well. So we are going to say instead of 50 we are going to say 100. And now inside this div let's add a style here. We'll say style, and we are going to say padding, it will be let's say 15 px. Let's save it and let me just copy this div, Control C. So a doctor will have his name in the database and also his phone number, then the doctor's specialty, and after this let's say it will also have the room number where the doctor sit, and let's say we'll also have the doctor images as well, and if you want you can add some more extra field, and I think this is enough. So doctor name, after this we will have the phone number. Let's just say phone, and so the type will be number, and inside the placeholder let's say write the number, and after number okay, type is num, and let's say name equal to, it will be number as well, and after number we'll have the doctor specialty. So in this label we are going to say, let's just say specialty, 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 and this time instead of input field we are going to say select option here. So we'll say select, and inside this select we'll say some option. So let me just say here value, option has some value, so let me just copy it, Control C. Now there can be a lot of type of specialty doctor. Let's say it can be a skin doctor or heart doctor, or it may be like eye doctor, or let's just say nose. Okay, so inside this value let me just say the same thing, it will be skin. After skin we'll have heart, then eye, and let's say nose. If you want you can add some more extra field, and let me just add one more option here, and here in this option we'll just say this hyphen hyphen select hyphen hyphen. So if we save it and let's refresh and let's see how it looks. So this is how it looks, you can see that. Okay, you cannot see the, okay, the text color is white, so that's a problem. So let's change the text color. Inside this select we are going to say style, and we'll say color, it will be black. So save it, and let's also mention a width over here. Let's say width will be 200 px. Save it now and let's refresh. Okay, that width is now almost the same. So after specialty we'll have the doctor room number. So we'll say doctor let's say just room number, and here the type will be text, that's fine, and in the placeholder we'll just say write the room number, and we also need to mention the name. Let's say name will be room, and here in the select we also need to mention a name here as well. So name is equal to specialty, and the last one will be the doctor image. So let's just say doctor image, and this time for image we need, instead of input field we need to mention input type will be this time file, and we also need to mention the name. let's say name equal to okay, file as well. Now after this image option we need to have a submit button, so let me just copy this div, Control C, Control V, and here okay, the submit button doesn't require level, so here input type will be submit, and here let's just mention a bootstrap class. Let's say class equal to btn btn, it will be success. Save it now, Control S, and let's refresh. So this is how it looks. Now let's change that design a little bit more. So let's go back to our code, and here you can see that the level is not at the same place, so we'll make that all the level is at the same place. So for it we'll go at the top, and inside this head we are going to mention a style, and inside it we are just going to say dot level, then 2 second bracket, and inside it we'll say display inline block, and let's also say width will be 200 px. Save it. Okay, we do not have to give the dot here, so now let's save it, and now let's refresh. Okay, now this looks better. So now we have doctor name, phone number, specialty, room number, and doctor image input field. Now let's go and create a model or a table in our database so that we can upload all those data. So for it we will go to directly to our command prompt, and here we are going to say php artisan make clone model. Then we are going to say our table name. Let's say our table name will be doctor table, or you can say model name will be doctor as well, so we'll say -m. So what will happen is that it will create a doctor model and a migration in the table at the same time. So if you press enter, you can see model is created successfully, and there is also migration created as well. So now if you go to our code, and if you go to app, then models, here you can see doctor.php, and if we go to our database, then migration, and inside migration you will see a doctor table over here. So let me just say over here dollar table, and then this arrow sign will say string, and inside this string we're going to set our doctor name. Let's just say here name, and let's just say it nullable. Okay, so now that's not a good practice, that if we just give every column name, column value is nullable, but since we are learning, so I think this is fine. So Control C, and I'll paste it 4 times. So after name, let me just check, we have phone number, specialty, room number, and doctor image. So here we are going to say phone, then we'll have specialty. After this we'll have room number, let's just say room, and the last one will be image. So let's save it, Control S. Now we'll go to our command prompt, and this time let me just say Control C, it will end it. Now we are going to say php artisan migrate, and if you press enter, you can see migration is successful. Now if you go to our database, and let me just refresh here, then you will see over here at the top you can see a doctor table. So if you click it, you can see name, phone, specialty, room, image. So let's go back to our code, and now we'll go to add doctor.blade.php. Now we'll directly go to our form, and where is the form? Okay, here is the form, and here we are going to say action, and we'll also mention the method, and after method we also need to say enc type. Why enc type? Because we also want to upload a file from here, so we need to mention enc type. So enc type will be multi-part, then slash, it will be form hyphen data, and we also need to mention at the rate of csrf, And now the method will be post, since we want to upload data to the database, and inside the action we'll say route. And okay, let's just say URL instead of route. Inside this URL we're going to say upload, let's say upload doctor, upload underscore doctor. So let's save it. So now we'll go to our web.php and create this upload doctor route. So let's go to web.php and let me just copy this, Control C and Control V, and instead of get, this time it will be post, and our URL name was upload underscore doctor, and let's say our function name will be just upload. So now let's save it, Control S. Now we'll go to our admin controller and create this upload function. So let's go to admin controller, and here we're going to say public function upload, and here then we'll just, and inside this upload we need to mention request, then dollar, let's say request. And why request? Because we want to get the data from the add doctor.blade.php, all those data you can see over here. So first of all we'll mention our table name. So let's say here dollar let's say just doctor. You can declare any variable you want. We'll say dollar doctor is equal to new, and we'll say doctor. Now this doctor is our table name, and since we are using this doctor table, so we need to add the doctor model at the top. So we need to say use app backslash models backslash doctor. So let's save it, Control S. Now we're going to, let's just try to get the image from here first, doctor image. So for it, now we'll declare a variable. Let's say here dollar image equal to, we'll say dollar request, this arrow sign, then we'll say file. Now this file is coming from the add doctor.blade.php. so here you can see new equal to file. So after this we are going to declare another variable. So we'll say dollar, let's say image name is equal to we'll set time, then to first bracket. After this we will say dot, then two single quotation, and inside this single quotation we need to give a dot, then another dot. Dot mean full stop, and after this dollar image, this arrow sign will say then get capital C client, get client capital O original extension, capital E extension, and it will end with two first bracket, then semicolon. And after this, okay, let me just write it over here like this. And after this we are going to set dollar request arrow file, and it will give another arrow, and then we are going to say move, and inside it we're going we need to mention a folder name. Let's say doctor image, then comma dollar image name. Now don't worry, I'll explain it. Let me just write it first. We'll just say dollar doctor, this arrow sign image equal to this image name. So we'll say dollar image name. So let me just explain it what is happening over here. So first of all we are getting the file, image file inside this variable. Then we declare another variable image name equal to we are using actually a time function, so that whenever we upload an image, every image will have a different name depending on this time function. And after this we are actually moving this file inside a folder called doctor image. Now this doctor image folder will be inside public folder. Now if you don't create this doctor image folder in the public, whenever you upload a image, it will automatically create this doctor image folder in the public folder, and inside that doctor image folder it will save the image. Here you can see image name, and then ultimately we are actually sending this doctor image to our database. So if you go to our database, here you can see that we have an image. So this is what we are calling doctor image equal to image name. So we are actually sending this image to our database. So after the image, we are going to upload all the other data like name, phone, specialty, room number. So for it, we just have to say again $doctor, then this arrow sign. Let's say here this time name is equal to $request, this arrow sign name. Now this name is coming from add doctor.blade.php. Here you can see doctor name, and name is equal to name. After name we have the number. So let me just copy this one, Control C, Control V. Now let me check it, the number in the database. Here you can see, okay, it's phone. So let's say here phone, and this one will be number. After number we have the room and specialty. So let's say here room equal to room and specialty equal to specialty. So in order to save it, we just need to say $doctor, this arrow sign, save, then to first bracket, and after this we want to stay on the same page, so we'll say redirect to first bracket, this arrow sign, back. So let me save it, and let me check. Okay, I hope there is no error. So let's refresh here. So now let's give the doctor name. Let's say doctor name is Yamin. Let's give the phone number, random phone number. Let's give the specialty skin doctor, and let's say room number 302. It means third floor, second room, and let's choose the image. Now let me check if I have any image. Okay, I have a lot of image. Let me just choose a random one. Okay, add a heading. Let me just choose it, open. So here you can see the image name, add a heading. So if you click submit, it will refresh, and there is an error. Specialty, okay, unknowns column specialty. Now let's go check. SPECIALTY. Okay, I did a spelling mistake here, so we have to fix it in the admin controller. SPECIALTY. So let me save it now, and let me just refresh here. Okay, we are now back to the same page. Now let me just refresh here. So here you can see the name, phone number, specialty skin. You can see the room number and the image here as well. Now if you go back to our code, and if you go to our public folder, let me just show you. If you go to public folder, you can see a new folder over here, doc.image, which we mention over here. Now we did not create this folder, it automatically created over here. So here you can see, if you go inside, you can see the image here as well. So let me close it. Now there is one more thing that I want to mention, is that whenever we are uploading a data or doctor in the database, how can user be sure that we actually successfully insert the doctor? So user is not going to check the database every single time, because user is not a programmer. So we should show a message at the top that doctor is added successfully. So for it, let's go back to our controller first, and here you can see return redirect back. So we'll return the view with a message. So we'll give a arrow sign this time, and we'll say with, and inside it we'll give two single quotation, and we'll say message, and then we'll give a comma, and inside it we are going to say doctor added successfully, and let me save it. Now we'll go to our add doctor.blade.php, and we need to catch that message. So here you can see that Okay, inside this div we are going to mention a if condition. We are going to say if, and we are going to say if session to first bracket, this arrow sign has to first bracket to single quotation, we are going to say message. If there is any message, let me just first in this if condition we'll say at the rate of int if, and inside this if condition we are going to say, we're going to mention a div first. Inside this div, let's just add a bootstrap class. Let's say class equal to alert, then alert success, and inside it we are going to paste the message. So we'll give two second bracket, and inside it we are going to say session to first bracket, then we need to say this arrow sign and we'll say get, and inside this get we are going to say message, and this will show the message. Now we also need to add a close button option so that we can close the message. So we'll say button, and let's say inside it button type will be button, and it will have a class will be class equal to, let's say, close, and we also say data, then this minus dismiss equal to, and inside this button we'll just give a x. Let me just cut this if condition, control x, and I'll paste this if condition after this class container. So control v, control s, and oh, there's a spelling mistake, success, su double c e double s. So now let's save it, and let's refresh again, and let me just keep the name again. Let's say Yahya. This time let's give the phone number, random phone number, specialty nose, room number 504. Let's choose the image, click open, then submit. Okay, doctor added successfully. Now there is one more thing I want to fix, is that we'll go to add doctor.date.php, and we'll have all the field input field is required, so we'll say required. So let me just copy it, Ctrl C, and let me just select every input field, select, then this one and this one as well. So Ctrl V, Ctrl S. Now let's refresh, and right now we cannot submit data without giving every data over here. Now in this tutorial we are going to show all the doctor images, their name and their specialty to our home page. So for it, let's go back to our code, and we'll directly go to our views, then you can see user, then home.blade.php. So if you go down in the home.blade.php, you can see that we are getting the doctor's details in this home page from different file. It is from doctor.blade.php, which is inside user. So we'll directly go to user, then doctor.blade.php, and over here you can see that there is a doctor lot of doctor images, their name, their specialty over here. So we are just going to keep only on of the doctor image and the specialty, and we are going to remove the rest of them. So here you can see that the class div class item started from here and it ended over here. So we are going to keep only this on this div class item, and I'm just going to remove every other of them. So let me just remove, and this item ended over here. So there will be three closing div at the end, and three opening div at the beginning. So right now we need to go to our controller, home controller. So let's go to our controller, then home controller.php, and here you can see that from this redirect function we are returning user.home home view, and also from this index function we are returning user.home view. So let's work with this index view first. So over here we are just going to say first of all declare a variable. Let's say dollar doctor. You can declare any variable you want. We'll go with doctor. Then we need to say our table name, and our table name is doctor. If you go to our browser and Over here you can see that our table name is doctor. So we say doctor, then we'll give to clone, then we'll say all. It means we want to get all the data from the doctor table, and we want to send all this data to our home page. So for it we need to say comma compact, then to first bracket, and inside it we need to mention this variable, since this variable contains all the data that we have in the doctor table. So we'll say doctor, and since we are using this doctor table, so we need to add the doctor model at the top. So let me just copy this user model and paste it here, and instead of user we'll say doctor. So let's save it, Control S, and now we need to go to our doctor.blade.php, and here we are going to cache all the data that we sent from the home controller. So here before this div class item we are going to say at the rate of for each, and inside first bracket we will say dollar doctor, then as dollar, let's say doctor, and this for each loop will end over here. We'll say at the rate of int for each. Now here you can see we have the doctor image, here doctor name and doctor specialty. So first of all let's write the doctor image. So we'll give 2-second bracket, and inside it we are going to say this this dollar doctors. So we'll say dollar doctors, then this arrow sign, then we'll say name. Now if you go to our database you can see that doctor name is name, then we have the doctor specialty, and here you can see also the image. So after name we'll write specialty. Let me just copy it, Control C, Control V, and it will be specialty, specialty. Okay, let's save it, Control S. Now if we refresh now, you will see same image multiple times because we didn't write anything in the image source. So let me just refresh and let's see how it looks. So here you can see we are seeing same image again and again, and we have the different name here, name, then you can see the specialty here. If you go right you can see some more details. So now let's add the image. So let's go back to our code again, and here you can see image source is equal to something is written. And in the previous tutorial, if you go to our admin controller and if you go down, you can see that we saved our image inside doctor image folder in the public folder. So let me just show you the public folder is over here, and if you go to our doctor image you can see a lot of image over here. So we are going to show all those images in the doctor.blade.php. So for it we just need to say doctor image, which is our folder name, then we'll give slash, then we'll give 2-second bracket, and inside it we are going to say this doctors, then this arrow sign will say image. Now this image name is coming from the database. Here you can see image. So let's save it, Control S. Now let me just refresh here. If we refresh it, you can see the doctor images over here. So all the doctor images height and width seems to be different. So let me just fix their height only. So let's go back to our code, and here inside the image we'll say height. Let's say it will be 400 px. No, let's say it 300 px. I think that will look better. Save it and let's refresh. Okay, this looks a little better than before. So right now if we try to log in, we will get a error. Let me just show you. Let's go to our user, then on 234 the password. If you click login, you can see a error that $doctor not found, because if we go to our home controller, here you can see at the redirect function we are also returning user.home view, and in the user.home view you can see that we have this $doctor function, and we write this $doctor only for the index. So let me just copy this, Control C, and I'll paste it inside this if condition. We'll say this, and after this again we just need to say over here comma, then we'll say compact, and inside it we just need to say doctor. So if we save it and if we refresh we will not see any error. So here you can see currently we are logged in and there is no error. We can see all the images perfectly. Okay, their size changes again. Okay, we will fix it later, like maybe in the last tutorial. But before that, there is a issue that I forgot to solve in the previous tutorial. So let me just show you the issue first. So if we go to our if we log into our admin dashboard, and if we give the password, and if you click login, you can see this is our admin dashboard, and at the top, if we just remove the URL, I mean the slash home, and if we press enter, it's taking us to this page which isn't correct. So let me just solve this issue. For it, let's go back to our code, and for it we need to go to our index, because if we go to the route and then web.php, you can see that the root view is actually calling the index. So we'll go to index, and here we are just going to write a if condition, a simple if condition. We'll say auth, then to double clone, we'll say id. So it means if there is any auth id, then return redirect, then it will call home. So it will return the view to home slash home. And if there is no auth id, then we'll go to else condition, and that is this one. Okay, so else condition do not require any second bracket, but let's just give it because it's better. So let's save it now, and let me just log out from here, and let's log into our admin dashboard again. Let's say admin, and let's see the password, and let's click login. So here you can see this is our admin dashboard. Now let's remove the slash home and let's press enter. So it's still keeping us on the same page. Now in this tutorial we are going to let the user make their appointment from here. Now the logged in user and also the user that is not logged in, both of them will be able to make an appointment. So they will ask for the appointment, and the admin will decide whether to accept or cancel the appointment. So first of all, we are going to just make some changes over here. Here you can see general health. So instead of general health, we'll say the doctor name over here, so that the user can choose that doctor from here. So for it, let's go back to our code, and we'll directly go to users, then we'll go to home.blade.php, and if you go down, you can see that we inherited the appointment .blade.php over here. So now we'll go to our appointment.blade.php, and here you can see the full name, email address, and the date, and here you can see the department and the number and the message field. So instead of department, we'll have our doctor name over here, and obviously we will not write them statically. We'll get the doctor name from our database, and if we go to our controller and then home controller.blade.php, here you can see we already send the doctor details to our home page before. So we are just going to mention a for each loop over here. We'll say at the rate of for each, then inside it we'll say dollar doctors as dollar doctor as dollar doctors, and this for each loop int will after this option. So we'll say at the rate of int for each, and inside this we'll say the doctor name, we'll give 2 second bracket, then we'll say dollar doctor, then this arrow sign, then we'll say name. So it will take show us the doctor name. And also here in the value, you can see in the value we'll also paste the same thing. We'll say dollar doctor name. So if you save it and if we refresh now, here you can see the doctor name, all the doctor name that we added over here, you can see. Okay, now let's also show the doctor specialty over here as well. So for it, we'll just let me just copy this, Control C, and let me just give some gap over here, then I'll paste it again, and here we are going to say specialty, specialty. So if we save it and if we refresh now, you can see the specialty over here as well. So you can just write it a little bit a better way. Over here we can just say specialty is CIALITI, specialty, like this. If we save it and if we refresh, you can see it like this. Yamin specialty skin, Shakil specialty heart, John specialty heart, Joy specialty eye. So now the user will be able to see the doctor and doctor name and the specialty as well. Now let's also make it a little bit better. Let's add another option over here. We're going to say option, and inside it we are just going to say select doctor and save it, Control S, and let's refresh. Okay, you can see select doctor. Now it looks a little bit better. Now if you want to upload those data to the database, so we need to create a table first. So let's go back to our command prompt, and over here we are going to say php artisan make then clone model, and let's say our table name will be appointment, 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 and we'll give -m, then it will also create a migration. So if you press enter, you can see model created successfully, migration is also created. So if you go to our code and if you go to app, then models, you can see appointment.php. And if you go to our database, then migrations, here you can see appointment table over here. So here we are going to add some new column. So let me just say over here, let's say dollar table, then this arrow sign we are going to say string, and first of all we'll have the name, username, then let's say it will be nullable, and after this let me just copy this line, Control C, and okay, let me check how many field we have. 3 4 5, okay, total of 6 field over here. So let me just 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, after name we'll have the user email, then we'll have the user phone number. After phone, let's say we'll have the doctor, you can say doctor name or anything. I'll just go with the doctor. And after this we'll have the date. After date we'll have the message, we'll say message. Okay, now we'll have one more extra field over here. Now okay, now we'll say over here status, status. Now normally the whenever user submit the request for appointment, it will be in progress, and the admin will decide whether to accept or cancel the appointment. So and we'll have one more extra field, which is let's say here user underscore id. Now this we are using this user id for the logged in user. So I think everything is okay, so let me save it. And now we need to migrate this table. So for it we need to say php artisan migrate, and if you press enter, you can see migration is successful. Now let's go to our database and let's refresh. So here you can see we have a new appointment field over here, and all the column that we added. Now let's go back to our code and we'll go to appointment.blade.php, and we'll directly go to over here. You can see a form. So we'll keep this class. So after class we are going to say action, and we'll say method, and we also need to add the csrf field, csrf, to upload data. So in the action, okay, let's write the method first. Method will be post, since we want to upload data to the database. Now in the action we are going to say url, and inside it we'll say let's say just appointment, and let's save it, Control S. Now we'll go to web.php and create this URL. Okay, but before that let me just give the input field name over here. Let's say here name equal to name. Now for email, name equal to email, and after email we have the date here. So let's say name equal to date, and this is for the doctor, right? So let's say here select name is equal to doctor, and we have two more field on its number. So let's say name equal to number, and here the message. So here you can see name equal to message already. So let's save it, Control S. Now we are going to go to our web.php to create this URL. So let's go to our route, then web.php, and let me just copy this route, Control C, then Control V, and here we'll say appointment, appointment, and let's say our function name will be appointment as well, appointment, appointment, and we'll use the home controller. So let's save it, Control S. Now we'll go to our home controller, and here we are going to create a function. So we are going to say public, then function, then appointment, and inside this first bracket we are going to say request, dollar request, and let's keep 2 second bracket, and inside it first of all we'll declare a variable. Let's say here dollar data. You can declare any variable. After this we need to mention our table name, which is appointment, and since we want to use the appointment table, so we need to add the appointment table model at the top. So let me just copy this, Control C and Control V, and here we need to say appointment, APPOINTMENT, appointment. Now the model name always will be capital. Now let's go down, and here we are just going to say dollar data, this arrow sign. Now let me just go to our table, and here you can see we have the name. So we'll say here name, which is coming from the database, then equal, we'll say dollar request, then this arrow sign, and we want to request the name that we input over here. So for it, so this name will come from the appointment.blade.php, and here you can see our name equal to name. So let me just say over here name. So let me just copy this and I'll paste it 8 times. 2 3 4 4 5 6 7 8. So after name we have, let's say, email, and it will be email as well, and we have after name email, let's say date, and now we'll have the phone. In the database we write phone, and in the web appointment.blade.php we write it the name as number. After, now this one will be, let's say, message. Okay, we have one more field, which is the doctor, and we have actually two more field. If you go to our database, here you can see status and user ID. So since the user applying for or requesting for the appointment, so by default it will be in progress. So I will say over here status. We don't have to give the request, dollar request over here. We'll give two single quotation, and inside it we are just going to say in progress. So, and so the last one we'll call it user ID. So we'll say user underscore ID equal, it will be so user ID equal, we'll say here auth, to double clone, then we'll say the table name, which is user, then we'll say this arrow sign ID. So the thing is, if the user is not logged in, then it means the user do not have any auth ID. So this line will actually throw us a error. So here we are just going to give a if condition. If we'll say auth double clone ID, then to first bracket, it means if the auth ID exists, only then count this. Okay, so it means if the auth ID exists, only then it will store a ID in this user ID column. So now we need to save it. So we say dollar data, then this arrow sign, we say save. So let's save it now, Control S. Now let's go back to our browser and let's just refresh. Okay, let's keep the name. Let's say here name test. Let's say email will be test. Now this is for a user who is not logged in. Let's give a date as well, and let's say, yeah, here let's give a phone number, random phone number, and let's say test in the message. So if you click submit request, okay, here you can see in the URL slash appointment, and now if we refresh over here in the database, you can see that we have the name, email, phone number, the doctor name, which is Yahya, then date, the message, status is in progress, and we do not have any user ID because this is a user that is not logged in. Now let me just fix it. So after saving the data, we want to stay on the same page. So we'll say return, then redirect, and we'll say back. So let me save it and let's refresh. Let me just remove it. Let's refresh and let's just write the name again. Let's say DDD, just random date, doctor random phone number, and let's enter a message. Let's click submit request. Okay, we are now on the same page. Now let's try to book an appointment for our logged in user. So let's now log in first, and let's keep the user, let's keep the password, click login. Okay, we are now currently logged in. So let's say here in the full name we'll say, let's say user, and let's give the email, which is user, and let's give a random date, select a doctor, let's give a phone number, and let's say message something random. Let's click submit request. Okay, now let's go back. Now let's go to our database and let's check if it stored the user ID or not. So let's refresh here. So here you can see it stored the user ID, which is 3. Now if we go to our users table, you can see that users ID is actually 3. So let me just explain it again. Here we are actually first checking if there is any auth ID, if means if there is any logged in. If there is any user logged in only, then it will execute this line of code, otherwise it will not execute this line. So let me just return a message so that user can understand that appointment request is successful. So we'll say with, then here we are going to say message, and we are going to give a comma, and here we'll just say appointment request successful. Successful, we'll contact with you soon. We contact with you soon. Save it. Now we want to show the message, let's say at the top over here probably. So now we'll go to our home.blade.php. So let's go to our user, then home.blade.php, and we'll add the message over here after this header part. So we already did the message part in the previous tutorial on. So let me just copy that portion of code from there. So we'll go to add doctor.blade.php, and actually over here you can see we added the success message over here. So let me just copy this if condition from here to here, Control C, and then we'll go to home user home.blade.php, and we're going to paste it over here. Now here you can see, let me just explain it again. From the home controller we are actually sending the message, which is this one, and in the home.blade.php here you can see if it has any message. Now this message is actually this one. So if there is any message, then it will show the message, and this if condition int over here. So let's save it, and let me just refresh again, and let me just add a user. Let's say user again, and with the email address, which is user@gmail.com. Let's give the password, select a doctor, let's give the number, and let's give a message. If you click submit request, you can see appointment request successful, will contact with you soon, and there is also a close button over here. Now in this tutorial I'm going to make a my appointment option over here, and this option will be only available to the logged in user. So if a user is logged in, only they will see the my appointment option over here. So let's go back to our code, and we'll directly go to our resource, then views, and inside views we have users, and inside users we have home.blade.php. And if we go down, you can see over here we give a if condition. If there is any auth, then we'll count this on. Now this line is responsible for to show us the logout option for user, and if there is no auth, it means there is no user is logged in, then it will show us login and register. So what we are going to do is that we are going to add a li over here. So let me just copy this li, Control C, and I'll paste it over here, Control V. So here you can see contact. So instead of contact, we are going to say my appointment. So if we save it now, and if we refresh, you won't see any my appointment option over here, because currently we are not logged in, and it will show us this my appointment text only when there is a login. So let's log in first. Let's click login. We'll go to user, then password, login, and here you can see currently we are logged in, and we have the my appointment text over here and the logout option. So let's just change its design a little bit. So for it, let's go back to our code, and here inside this anchor tag we are going to add a style. Let's say style, let's say background color, let's say it will be green yellow. So if you save it and if you refresh, here you can see its background color is changed. Now let's make this text color white. I think that will look better. So let me just say over here color equal to white, Control S. Now let's refresh, Okay, I think it looks better right now. Now what we are going to do is that if someone click this my appointment option, then it will take the user to another page where they can see their appointments. So for it, let's go back to our code again, and here you can see inside the href we are going to mention a URL, and we are going to say 2 second bracket, and we'll say URL. Now here in this URL we are going to say my appointment, appointment appointment. So let's save it, Control S. Now we'll go to our web.php and create this URL. So let's go to route, then web.php, and here I'm just going to copy this route, Control C, and it will be a get request. So we'll say get, and let me just copy this URL, Control C, and I'll paste it over here, Control V, and let's say our class name, it will be the same thing, my appointments. So let's save it, Control S. Now we'll go to our home controller and create this function. So let's go to our app, then HTTP, then controllers, then home controller, and we'll directly go down, and here we are just going to say public function, then my appointment, then 2 first bracket, 2 second bracket, and from here we are just going to return a return view. We are going to say user dot let's say my underscore appointment, app. So we do not have this my appointment dot blade.php, so we are going to create this blade file inside our user folder. So let's go to our user folder, then right click on it, then new file, and here we are going to say my underscore appointment dot blade dot php. So let's save it, Control S, then save, and here we are just going to say something simple. Let's just say HTML, and inside body we are going to say h on, and let's say show appointment. Let's save it, Control S. Now let's refresh, and now if we click my appointment, here you can see it is showing us this show appointment. So here we need to add a navbar, just like our home page. If you go to our home page, you can see a navbar over here. So we are going to add this to our my appointment page. So for it, let's go back to our code, and we'll go to home.blade.php, and we are going to copy the code for the navbar. So let me just copy first everything from here, Control A, Control C, and I'll paste it inside my appointment.blade.php. So Control V over here, and let me just remove the unnecessary things. We will only keep the navbar, and we are going to remove everything else. So let's remove it after the end of this header part. Here you can see login registration. So let me just remove it from here to, okay, we'll only keep the script part. So let's remove it. So let's save it, Control S. Now if we refresh here, you can see the never part over here. Now here we are just going to create a table to show the appointment that the user make. So for it, we are first going to create a table over here. So we are just going to say here, let's just have our table inside a div. So inside this div, we will say table, and a table has a header part and the data part. So first of all, we are going to say tr, and inside this tr we are going to say th means table header. So let me just copy this th, Control C, and I'm going to paste it 3 times. So Control V, 2, 3. So inside this, let me just show you our table, and inside the table header we will have the doctor name, then date, then the message, and the status. So over here we are going to say doctor name, and here we are going to say date. After date we will have the message, and the last one will be status. So let's save it, and now let's create another tr, and we'll have some td, table data. So we'll have 4 td since we have 4 table header, Control C, 3, 4. So let's save it, and if we refresh now over here, you can see that table like this. Now we need to change its design. So for it, let's go back to our code again. Now here you can see that we have our table inside this div. So we are going to say over here, let's say align. We want the table to be center. Let's say center, and let's also add a style. let's say it will be padding, let's say padding will be 70 px, and if we save it now and if we refresh over here, you can see it's now in the middle. Now let's add some more design over here as well. Now inside this tr, let's add a style. Let's say background color, it will be black, and let's also add some style for the table header as well. So let me just select everywhere, every th, and we'll say over here style, and inside this style we'll say padding, it will be 10 px, and after padding let's say we'll also have font size it will be, let's say, 20 px, and let's also add a color for them, text color. Let's say text color, it will be white. So if we save it, Ctrl S, and if we refresh here, you can see it looks like this, and it looks better, way better than before. So now let's go back to our home controller.blade.php, and from here we're going to send the specific appointment that is made by this specific user. But before that, let me just fix something. If we just log out from here, click log out, if we just say in the URL, if we just say /my appointment, and if we press enter, it is still taking us to this page when the user is not logged in. So this isn't correct. So we'll only show this page when the user is logged in. So for it, we'll just say in this my appointment function, we are just going to give a if condition. If auth id exists, only then show this view. Control X and Control V, and if there is no auth ID, then we'll go to else condition, where we'll say return redirect, and return redirect back. It means stay on the same page. Save it now, and let's refresh. Now let's say if you want to say over here /my appointment, and if we press enter, it's keeping us on the same page. So this is more logical. Now let's go back to code again. So here after login, we want to show the user their specific appointment that is made by them. So for it, we first need to get the user ID that is logged in. So let me just first declare a variable. Let's say user ID is equal to auth, then double clone, we will say user, then to first bracket this arrow sign ID. So we'll have the user ID stored in this user ID variable. So if we go to our browser and go to our database, here you can see in the appointment we have a user ID field. When a logged in user is booking a appointment, it also showing their ID. And if we go to our user table, you can see that ID over here as well. So using this, we are going to show the specific appointment is made by the specific user. So for it, first of all, we need to write a where condition over here. So let's just first declare a variable over here. Let's just say $appoint is equal to now we are going to say our table name, which was appointment. Then we'll give two double clone, and here we are going to write a where condition, and inside it we'll give two single quotation, and here we need to write this. If you go to our database, you can see user underscore ID. So we'll write here user underscore ID, comma, we'll write this variable user ID dollar user ID. So and then the last will say get. So it means if the user ID in the table and this user ID matches, then only it will get that specific appointment for that specific user. So here we are just going to say comma compact, and we will send this appointment. We'll say appoint, not appointment, we'll say this variable appoint. So let's save it. Now we'll go to our my appointment.blade.php, and here you can see some td and this tr, and we are going to add a for each loop before this tr. We are going to say at the rate of for each dollar appoint as, let's say, appoints, and this for each loop will end after this tr. Will say at the rate of int for each, and inside this td we are going to say give 2 bracket, and we are going to say appoints, which is this one. Oh sorry, it will be dollar appoints, equal dollar appoints, then we'll give arrow sign, and first we'll say the let me just check the database first. We have the doctor, date, message, and status. So first one will be doctor. Let me just copy this, Control C, Control V. Now this one will be date. After date we have the message and the status. So let's say here message and here status. So if we save it now and if we refresh over here, okay, sorry, we first need to log in. So let's go to our user, then give the password, click login. Now here you can see my appointments. Now if we click this, it's showing us the doctor name, the date, message, and the status. Now the admin will decide what will be the status. If the admin accept this appointment, then it will show over here that accepted or something else. So let's just add some design for showing the data as well. So for it, let's go back to our browser again, and let's say we'll use the same style that we did for the table header. So let me just select every TD, then Control V, and let's say their font size will be different. So let's remove those font size. Okay, now let's save it, and let's also add the background color over here as well. Let's say over here style, inside this tr, let's say the background color will be black, because the text color is white, and if the background color is not black, then it will show us nothing. So if we refresh now, so here you can see the doctor name, date, message, and the status here. So now let's also add another field called like cancel appointment so that the user can cancel the appointment by their own if they want. So for it, let's go back to our browser, and here we are going to add another th. So let me just copy this, Control C and Control V, and here we are going to say let's say cancel appointment. So if we save it now and if we refresh, here we can see we have one extra field called cancel appointment. So for it, so let's go back to our code again, and here let me just give a td over here. After this status we'll say td, and inside this td we'll give an anchor tag, and it will be, let's say we say over here cancel, and let's also add a bootstrap class inside this anchor tag. We are going to say btn delete, sorry, btn danger, and if we save it and if we refresh, you can see a button over here like this. Okay, now we should have the table data in the middle. That will actually look better. So here we are just going to say align center inside this tr, save it and refresh. Okay, now this looks better. Now if someone click this cancel button, then it will automatically delete the appointment. So inside this href we are going to add another url. So we'll say url, and inside two single quotation and inside this url we are going to say cancel appoint. Let's just say underscore appoint. So let's save it, Control S. Now we'll go to our web.php again, and let me just copy this route, Control C, Control V, it will be get request, and let me just copy this cancel appoint, Control C, Control V over here, and let's say our function name will be cancel underscore appoint as well. So let's save it. Now let's go to our home controller again, and we are going to say public function cancel appoint. Now the thing is there is a multiple appoint option over here. Now the user may want to delete a specific appointment. So we'll go to our my appointment again, and here we're going to send a id with this url. So we'll give dollar appoint, we are going to say appoint appoints, then this arrow sign will say id. So it will also send the id with this url to the web.php, and we'll give a slash over here, and we'll give 2 bracket, we'll say here id, and this id will be catched by the cancel appointment function in the home controller. So we'll say here dollar id, and here we're going to declare a variable. Let's say data is equal to we'll say our table name, which is appointment, and we'll give then we'll say find, and inside it we are going to say $id, and then we'll just say $data, this arrow sign, delete. After this we want to stay on the same page after deleting it, so we'll say return, then redirect back. So let's save it, Control S. Now let's just refresh over here. So if we click this cancel button, okay, the data is deleted. Now user may accidentally click this cancel button, so we should so if the user click this cancel button, we should show something that saying that are you sure or something like this. So for it, let's go back to our code again. Now we'll directly go to our myappointment.blade.php, and here inside this anchor tag we're going to say on click, then equal we'll say return confirm, and inside this first bracket we're going we'll give two single quotation, and we'll say are you sure to delete this. So let's save it, Control S, and let's just refresh again. And if we click cancel, it is showing us a message that are you sure to delete this. And if you click cancel, it will not delete it, and if you click OK, it will delete the appointment. So there you go. So this is all for this tutorial. In the previous tutorial, we let the user see their appointments, and user is also able to cancel their appointments. Now in this tutorial, we are going to let the admin change the status of the appointments. Here you can see in progress, admin can change the status to cancel or approve. So now let's just log out from here, and let me just log into the admin dashboard. Click login, and we'll give the admin username, I mean the email, and the password. Click login. So here you can see this is the admin dashboard. Now first of all, we're going to have a appointment sidebar over here, so that when the admin click the appointments, it shows all the appointments. So for it, let's go back to our code, and we'll directly go to our resource views, then admin, and here inside admin we have the sidebar.blade.php, and if you go down here, you can see add doctor option over here. So we are just going to copy this li, Control C, and we are going to paste it over here, and we are going to say here appointment, and if we save it now, and if we just refresh here, you can see a new sidebar option over here, appointments. Now if we click appointments, we'll see a new page where we can see all the appointments. So let's go back to our code again, and here you can see inside href there is a URL. So we are going to remove this URL. Now inside this URL, let's say we'll say show appointment. So let's save it, Control S. Now we need to create this URL. So we'll go to route, then web.php, and let me just copy one of the route, Control C, then Control V, and here let me just copy this show appointment, Control C, and we'll paste it over here. And let's say our function name will be same thing, show appointments, and we'll use admin controller since we are in admin. So now let's save it. Now we'll go to our admin controller and create this function. So let's go to our admin controller app, then http controllers admin controller, and here we'll just say public function show appointment, then two first bracket, and we are just going to say we are just first return a view, return view, and inside it we'll say admin dot let's say show appointment, and let's save it, Control S. Now we do not have this show appointment blade in the admin folder, so we need to create it. So let's go to admin folder, right click on it, then click new file. So we are going to say over here show appointment dot blade.php. So Control S, now save. So here you can see show appointment dot blade.php. Now in this show appointment, let's just say HTML, and inside this body we are just going to say h on. Let's just say test view, and if we save it now, and if we refresh, and if we click the appointments, here you can see test view. So we are going to copy some code in this view. So let me go to our home.blade.php, and over here I'm going to copy everything, Control A, Control C, and we'll paste it inside showappointment.blade.php. So Control V. Now we are going to remove this admin.body. So if we save it and if we now refresh here, you can see here a view without the body. So now we are going to show a table over here that it shows all the appointment that the user make. So let's go back to our code again, and here just like in the previous tutorial that we did for the add doctor.blade.php, we need to add this div class, Control C, and we need to add this div class after this navbar, because if we don't add this div class, then we won't be able to see any design we make. Let me just show you. If we just write over here h on and if we just say some random things, save it, and if we refresh, we won't see anything over here. But if we just cut it from here and if we have it inside this div and save it and refresh, we'll be able to see it. Here you can see HHH. Now this is for because we are using a template, and now this template use certain class for showing things in the body part. So here we are going to first of all create a table. So for creating a table, let's say over here, let's just create a div, and inside this div we are going to have a table. So let's say over here table, and a table obviously have a header part and body part. So first of all, let's declare the header part th, and let me just copy this th, and we'll paste it 7 times, 1 2 3 6 and 7. And now in this th we are going to write all those things, all the column that we have in the appointment table. You can see name, email, phone, doctor name, then the date, message, and the status. So here we are just going to say first, let's just say the customer name, and let's have the customer email, then we'll have the customer phone number, and after this we'll have the doctor name, and we'll have the date, then the message that the customer give message, and the last one will be status. So let me just save it, Control S, and if we just refresh here, you can see it like this. Now let's just change that design a little bit. Now here you can see div. Now inside this div, let's say here align, it will be center, and let's also mention a style over here. We'll say style, let's say padding, it will be 100 px. So let's save it, Control S, and let me just refresh. Okay, this looks like this. Now let's change a little bit. Now in this tier we are going to mention a style, and inside this style we'll say background color, let's say it will be black. And if we save it now and if we refresh, here you can see it looks like this. Now let me change a little bit more. In this th we are going to say style, and we'll just say padding, it will be 10 px. So let me just copy this style, Control C, and let me select every th over here, and we are going to just paste the style, Control S, and if we refresh now, okay, this looks better than before. Now let me make some design for table data. So we'll give another tr, and inside this tr we'll write td means table data, and we'll obviously paste it 6 times, just like we did for the table header. Okay, now let's just say random things inside the td. Save it, and let's refresh. So this is how it looks. Now let's also change that design a little bit as well. Inside this tr we are going to say align, it will be center, and let's also say style, and let's also say background color, it will be, let's say background color will be sky blue. Now if we save it and if we refresh here, you can see that background color is sky blue, and the text is also in the center. So now let's show all the data that we have in this appointment table. So for it we need to go to our admin controller.php, and here first of all we need to get the all the appointment data. So we'll say here dollar data, you can declare any variable, dollar data is equal to we need to say our table name, which is appointment double clone all. So it will get all the data from the appointment table, and since we are also using this appointment table, so we also need to add the appointment table model at the top. So let me just copy this, Control V, and if you go to our app, then models, here you can see appointment. So we need to just say over here appointment. So now let's save it, Control S. Now we need to send this data to our view. So here we need to say compact, and inside it we just need to say data. So it means we are actually sending all the data to our this view. So now let's go to our show appointment, and here let me just remove all the double S. Okay, now we'll write a for each loop before this tr for the table data. So we are going to say over here for each let's say dollar data as dollar, let's say appoint, and this for each loop will end after this tr. So we'll say here at the rate of int for each. So now in this td, let's give 2 second bracket, and inside the second bracket here you can see we say dollar appoint. So let me just copy it, paste it, and now we'll give an arrow sign. And now the first one is the customer name. So here if you go to our database, here you can see customer name we write as name. So here we are just going to say name, and let me just copy it, Control C, and I'll paste paste this inside every TT. So Control V. Now after name we have email, phone, doctor name, date, message, and status. So let me just write everything. So we'll say here email, and here we are going to say phone. After this we have the doctor name, so we'll say doctor, then date, then the message, and the last one is status. So let's save it, Control S. Now if we refresh over here, you can see the customer name, the customer email, phone number, then the doctor name, the date, the test, and the status, and every status is in progress. So there is a total of 3 data, and let me just check in the database. Okay, a total of 3 data. So after this status we'll have 2 more column over here. One will be approved and another one will be cancelled. So let's go back to our code again, and here let me just copy this status, Control C, and I'll paste it 2 times. So this one will be approved, and the second one will be cancelled. So let's go down, and let me just write here 2 td, and we'll declare another td over here, and inside this td we are going to mention an anchor tag. Let me just write it properly. Now inside this anchor tag we are just going to say approved, and for the second one let's just keep the anchor tag first, and for this anchor tag this one will be for cancelled. So let's also mention a bootstrap class over here. So let's say class is equal to btn minus success, and the second one this one will be class let's say btn minus danger. So let's save it, Control S, and if we refresh now, here you can see approved and cancel option over here. Now here you can see that our table is a bit too on the right side. So let me just change the design a little bit. Here you can see in the division we write padding 100. So here we are just going to say padding top 100. So if we save it now, Control S, and if we refresh, so here you can see this right now looks better. So now what we are going to do is that if the admin click approve, then it will be its status will change to approve, and if the admin click cancel, then its status will change to cancel. So for it again we will go to our code, and we'll directly go to the anchor tag. Here you can see approve, and inside this href we will give 2 second bracket, then we will say url, and inside this url we are going to say, let's say approve. Now we also need to send a specific data, so we'll say over here comma dollar appoint, then this arrow sign will say id. So what will happen is that if someone click this approve button, then it will take this id. If someone click this approve button, then it will take the id for this appointment. So let's go back, and here, so now we'll go to our web.php, and let me just copy this one, Control C and Control V, and here we are just going to say approve, then /id, and we'll use admin controller, and here let's say our function name will be approved as well. So now let's go to our admin controller, and here we are going to say public function approve, and inside this we need to mention the $id, and after this we need to declare a variable. Let's say $data equal, now we need to say our table name, which is appointment, then we'll give two double clone and we'll say find id, find $id. So it will find the specific appointment with the specific id. So let me just explain it again. If someone, let's say, click this approve button, then it will get the specific id for this. So if you go to our database, you can see that in that appointment table, this appointment specific id is 5, so it will get the specific id and change its status. Here you can see status, and we only want to change the status, so it's in progress. So we are going to say $data, we are going to mention the status equal, we'll say to sing inside the single quotation, we'll just say approved, and after this we are just going to say $data, this arrow sign, save. And we also want to stay on the same page, so we'll say return redirect, and we'll say back, return redirect back. So let's save it, Control S. Now we'll go to our browser and let me just refresh over here. If I click the approve button, here you can see that this status is changed to approve. Now if I just click approve for this one, here you can see its status changed to approved. Now let's also do the cancel part as well. So let's go back to our code again, and cancel part is also the same, just like the approve. So we'll just say over here inside this URL href, we are going to say URL, and then let's say here cancel, and we also need to mention the $appointment id over here, appoint id here. So now let's save it. Now we'll go to our web.php, and let me just copy this route, Control C and Control V, and we are going to say over here cancelled. So let me just copy this one, cancelled, Control C, and I'll just paste it over here and here as well, Control V, Control S, since both of them is basically the same. So now again we'll go to admin controller, and let me just copy this function, public function, Control C, and we'll say Control V, and we'll change the function name, which was cancelled. So let me say cancelled. So just like before, we are getting the id, then we are finding the specific id in the table, and here we want to change the status from approve to cancelled. So let's save it, Control S. Now let's just refresh over here. So here you can see this one is approved. Now if we click cancel, you can see that its status changed to cancel. Now if we click also here cancelled, here you can see its status changed to cancelled. Now here you can see that the status is approved. Now if we just go to our user page, let me just log into our user. So let's log out, and let's go to our user, which I just created a new user, this one. Then let's give the password, let's click login. So if I go to my appointments, so here you can see that my status is approved over here as well. So in this tutorial, we are going to show all the doctor in this admin panel. Now you can already see that we already have the option for add doctor. So we are going to have another sidebar over here, and if we click that sidebar, it will show us all the doctor. So let's go back to our code, and we'll directly go to our resource, then views, and inside views we have the admin, and inside admin we have sidebar.blade.php. So inside it we will just directly go down, and here we are going to copy this li, Control C list, and we are going to paste it over here, Control V, and here we are going to say all doctors. So let's save it, Control S. So now if we go to our browser and if we refresh here, you can see we have another option called all doctor. So when we click all doctor, it should show us all the doctor. So let's go back to our code, and we'll go to, and here you can see href over here. So let's say over here show doctor. So let's save it, Control S. Now we will create this show doctor URL. So we'll go to route, then web.php, and over here let me just copy this route, Control C, Control V, and over here we are just going to say show doctor. and let's say the function name will be show doctor as well, and we'll use the admin controller. So let me just save it, Control S. Now we'll go to our controller, then admin controller, and here we're going to write the function show doctor. So we'll say public function show doctor, and here we are just going to first return a view. So we'll say return view, and inside it we'll say admin dot, let's say, show doctor. So we do not have this show doctor blade, so we need to create it inside admin folder. So let's go to our admin folder, then right click, then click new file, and here we are going to say show doctor dot blade .php. So Control S and save. So let me just write something simple over here. So inside this body we are just going to say h on, and let's say here show. So let's save it, Control S, and let's refresh. And if we click show doctor, you can see that it show us show. So let me go back to our code, and here we're going to copy some code, and we'll directly go to our home.blade.php. So we are going to copy everything from here, Control A, Control C, and we'll paste it inside the show.blade, Control V. And let me just remove this admin.body. So if we now save it, and if we refresh, here you can see at the URL you can see show doctor, and there is nothing in the body. So we are going to create a table over here so that we can show all the doctor. So let's go back to our code, and this time we'll go to our show appointment.blade.php, and from here we're going to copy this div. So Control C, and we'll paste it over here inside this after the navbar. So Control V, let me just in this div. Now let me just copy a little bit more from the show appointment. Let me also copy this div align center style padding top 100px, and we'll paste it inside this div, and let me also close the div. And now inside this div we are going to copy one more thing, which is this table tr. So let me just copy it, Control C and Control V. So over here you can see inside tr, I mean the table row, we have some table header. So here we are going to have our doctor details. So if we go to our database, and if we go to our doctor table, here you can see a doctor has name, phone number, specialty, room, and the image. So a total of five columns. So let me just write them in our code. So first of all we are going to say here doctor name, and the second one will be phone, then specialty. After that we will have the room number where the doctor sit. So and the last one will be doctor image. So we do not require the rest of the parts, so let me just remove them. And if we just refresh over here, you can see the doctor name, phone, specialty, and room number like this over here. So now we'll go back to our code again, and now this time we'll now directly go to our admin controller. And since we want to show all the doctor from the database, so we need to send the doctor's data from our controller using this function. So first of all we'll declare a variable. We'll say $data is equal to, we'll say doctor, which is our table name, then double clone all. So it will get all the doctor's data and store it in this $data variable. And then we are just going to say comma compact, and inside it we'll say data. So if we save it, okay, one more thing, since we are using this doctor table, so we also need to add the doctor model at the top, and we already add the model doctor model before. So now we will go to our showdoctor.blade.php. So let's go to our showdoctor.blade.php, and here you can see this tr is for the table heading, and for table data we need to write another tr. So let me just write tr, and inside this tr we will have the table data. So let me just say td, and let me just copy it, and I'll paste it 5 times. 1 2 3 4 and 5. So inside this td, first of all we need to show the doctor name, but before that let me just start a for each loop. Over here we'll say at the rate of for each, and first bracket, and we'll say $data as, let's say doctor, and this for each loop will end after this tr. So we'll say at the rate of end for it, and inside this td we'll give 2 second bracket, and here we need to say this variable which is $doctor, then this arrow sign, and we need to say name. So let me just copy this doctor name and I'll paste it over here. So after name we have the phone number, specialty, room number and image. So here we'll say phone, and let me just check the spelling specialty in the database. Okay, specialty, and this one will be room. So if we save it and if we refresh now, here you can see the doctor details over here, and we do not write the code for the image, but before we add image, let me just change the design a little bit, and let me just go to show appointment again, and here you can see that in the td we write this style. So let me just copy it, Ctrl C, and I'll paste it inside this tr. So Ctrl V, and if we save it, and now if we refresh, you can see the background color is sky blue and the text is in the center. So let's now add the image. So if we go to our admin controller, and let me just show you that here you can see that we upload the doctor data from this upload function, and here you can see we stored the doctor image in this doctor image folder, which is inside public folder. So if you go to our public folder, you will be able to see doctor image over here, and here inside it we have a lot of image. So for showing the doctor image, we first of all need to declare image tag inside the td, and inside this source we need to say doctor image, then slash, then we need to give 2 second bracket, and then let me just copy this $doctor room and I'll paste it over here, and here instead of room we'll say image. So you'll get the specific image in the doctor image folder. So if we save it and if we refresh now, here you can see the doctor image over here. Now let me just resize their image length. So for it we'll say inside this image we'll say height, let's say height will be 100, and let's say width it will be 100. So let's save it and let's refresh. So there you go, we can see the image for the doctor. Now we'll add two more column over here. One will be to delete the doctor data, and another one will be for updating their data. So for it, let's go back to our code again, and here I'm going to copy this th. So Ctrl C, and I'll paste it 2 times, Ctrl V and Ctrl V. So here I'm going to say delete, and after this we'll say update. So if we save it now and if we refresh, here you can see 2 more column, delete and update. So let's go back to our code, and this time we'll add 2 more td over here. So let's say here td, and here inside this td we'll declare an anchor tag, and here we are going to say inside this anchor tag we'll say, let's say delete, and we'll also mention a bootstrap class here, and it will be ptn danger. So after this let me just copy it and paste it over here, and this time we'll say instead of delete we'll say update, and here instead of danger let's say primary. So let's save it, and if we refresh now, here we can see 2 more button over here. One is for delete and another one is for update. So let me show do the delete part first. So let's go back to our code, and here inside this href we are going to give 2 second bracket, and then we are going to say url to first bracket to single quotation, and let's say delete doctor, and we need to say here $doctor id. So $doctor this arrow id. So let me just explain it. So if someone click this delete button, then it will get the id for this data and then delete this data. So we are actually sending this id to our route. So for it, now let's go to our route and create this url. We'll go to web.php, and let me just copy this one, this route, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and here we are going to say delete doctor id, and let's say our function name will be same, delete doctor. So now let's save it, Control S, and now we'll go to our admin controller. Let me just go down, and here we are going to say public function delete doctor, and here we need to set $id. So let me just explain it again. We are sending the specific id to our web.php. Here you can see the id, and our route is sending this id to our admin controller delete doctor function. So here we are going to declare a variable with a $data is equal to our table name, which is doctor, double clone, and we'll say find, and inside this find we'll say dollar id. And now in order to delete that specific data, we just need to say dollar data, this arrow sign, delete. So right now we are just going to say return redirect, and to first bracket this arrow sign back. So after deleting the data, we'll stay on the same page. So let me just save it, Control S, and if we refresh now, and let me just delete this one. If we click delete, it will delete this doctor image, doctor data. Here you can see that doctor is gone. Now the admin may accidentally click the delete button. So whenever the doctor click this delete button, will show a message that are you sure. So for it, let's go back to our code again, and we'll go to our show doctor.blade.php, and here inside this anchor tag we are going to say on click, then we are going to say return confirm, and inside it we'll give two first bracket, and inside it we are just going to say are you sure to delete this. So if we save it now, and if we just refresh here, and if we click the delete button, here you can see a message are you sure to delete this, and if we click OK, it will delete the data, and if you click cancel, it will not delete the data. So let me just show you. Let's click delete, then let's click OK. So here you can see that the last data is gone. Now in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how we can update a specific doctor data over here. So what will happen is someone click the update button, then it will take us to another page with the certain doctor data, and we'll be able to edit there or update their data. So first of all, let's go back to our code, and we'll directly go to our views, then admin, then show doctor.blade.php, and if we go down, you can see that inside this td we have a update button. So inside this href we are going to mention a url. We are going to say, let's say update doctor, and we also need to send a doctor id from here, but we'll do it later so that I can explain it to you more easily. So let's just first create the update view. So now we'll go to our routes, then web.php, and let me just copy this route, Control C and Control V. So our URL name will be update doctor, and let's say our function name will be update doctor as well, and we'll use the admin controller for this. So let's save it. Now we need to go to our admin controller. So we'll go to http controllers admin controller. So here we are going to create the function update doctor. So we'll say public function update doctor, and here we are just going to return a view first. So we'll say return view, and inside it we'll say admin dot, let's say our page name will be update underscore doctor. And now we'll go to our admin folder and create this update doctor blade. So let's go to our admin folder and right click on it, then new file, and here we'll say update underscore doctor dot blade dot php. So Ctrl S and save. So right now let me just say something simple over here, and inside this body we'll say h on, and let's say update page, save it, and let's now just refresh here. Now if we click this update button, it will take us to another page, and it says update page. So now we are going to copy some code from our home.blade.php, and here you can see, let me just copy everything, Ctrl A, Ctrl C, and we'll paste it inside update.blade.php. So Ctrl V, and let me just remove this admin.body part, and if we save it now, and if we just refresh over here, and if we click the update button, now here you can see at the top we have the URL update doctor over here. So the thing is, whenever the user click this update button, it should take us to the page with this doctor data, right? So what we are going to do is that we'll go to our showdoctor.blade.php, and here inside this href we are going to mention the doctor id just like before we did for the delete. So let me just give over here comma, and we'll say dollar doctor, then this arrow sign id. So we'll save it. Now we'll go to our web.php, and we need to catch this id. So we'll go to web.php, and here we are just going to give a slash, then we'll say here id, and we are sending this id to our admin controller update doctor function. So let's go to admin controller, then update doctor function. Here you can see, so we'll say here dollar id, and after this we need to declare a variable. We'll say dollar, let's say data is equal to, you can declare any variable you want. Now we need to say our table name, which is doctor double clone find, and to first bracket inside it we need to say dollar id. So what will happen is that if someone click this update button, then our this URL will get the specific ID, send it to our web.php, and our web.php will send it to our admin controller over here. And using this dollar data variable, here you can see dollar data find ID, it means it will search the specific ID in our database, and then store that specific data in this dollar data variable. So we need to send this dollar data to our view. So we'll say compact, and inside to first bracket we are going to say data. So let's save it. So now we are actually sending the specific doctor data to our this update doctor view. So now we'll go to our update doctor.blade.php, and let me just copy a div from showdoctor.blade.php. So let me just copy this, Ctrl C, and I'll paste it over here, and I will in this div. And here let me just show you the database first. If you go to our database, and if you go to our doctor table, so here you can see all the doctor's name, phone, specialty, room, and image. So we want to show all those data at the update page. So for it, let me just show you the basic. Now we are sending the dollar data from here. So if we just say over here to second bracket, and inside it, if we just say dollar data, and if we just say name, and after name let's just check, we have phone, specialty, room. Okay, so let me just copy this on, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Okay, let's just say over here phone, and let's say here room, and if we save it, and if we refresh now over here, so if we click it, it will get the specific ID of this data and show its data to other page. So if we click update, okay, for some reason the CSS is missing, it cannot find the public folder, but at the down you can see the name, phone number, and the room number as well. So let me just fix this first. So if you go to our update doctor.blade.php, and at the top we are just going to say, inside the head we are going to say base, and inside this href we need to give slash public. Now if we miss the slash, it won't work. So if we save it, and if we refresh now, everything should be fine. Okay, so here you can see the doctor name, then the doctor phone number, and the doctor room number. Let me just check it for another one. If we click this one, here you can see different name, different phone number, and different room number. So obviously we cannot show it like this, we need to show it in a proper way. Now if you go to our add doctor, you can see a design like this. So we are going to create a same design for our update doctor page. So for it, let's go back to our code again, and here let me just remove this part, and here let me will declare a div, and inside this div let's just say class equal to container, and it will be align center, and let's also add the style. It will be padding 100 px. So inside this we need to declare a form or create a form, and we'll now say another div, and inside this div we'll have a label, and let's say it will be doctor name and a input field for doctor name. So we'll say input, so input type will be text, and name is equal to, let's say, name only, and it will have a value, and what will be the value will be this one, dollar data name, just like before we showed a doctor name. And let me just copy this one, Control C, and I'll paste it 4 times, 1 2 3 and 4. So after name we have our doctor phone number, let's just say only phone, and here the type will be number, and here the value will be phone. And after phone we have the doctor specialty, and type will be text, and dollar data specialty. And after this we have the doctor room number, let's just say room, and here the type will be, let's say, text, that's okay, and dollar data room. So if you save it now, and let me just uh, click this doctor Smith, here you can see doctor name is Smith. So if you click it, okay, you can see the doctor name, but the text color is white actually, that's why we are unable to see it. So let me just change the text color for them. So let me just say inside this input field, let's just say style, and we'll say color, it will be black. So now let me just copy this on style, Control C, and I will paste it inside every input field. So now Control V, and if we save it and if we refresh, here you can see the doctor name, phone number perfectly. Now this one will be actually doctor image, so we'll do it later, but let me just fix the style first. We'll go to our, here you can see we declare a div. Now inside this div we'll declare a style, and we'll say padding, it will be 15 px, and let me also copy this one, Control C, and I'll paste it inside every div, Control V, Control S, and if we refresh now we'll see some gap over here. So you can see that it created some gap. Now we need to like align them a little bit. So for it, let me just go directly at the top. Inside this head we are going to mention a style. Here we'll say style, and let's say here label, and inside this label let's say display, it will be inline block, and we'll also say width, it will be 200 px. So if we save it now and if we refresh, you will see the level in different position, you can see that. So now we have another one, which is this one, it will be doctor image actually. So let's go back to our code, and we directly go down, and let's say here instead of doctor name we'll say old image. So we'll show the old image. So in order to show image we need to use image tag, not input type. So we'll say image. Now here we need to mention the image source. Now we saved our image, all the doctor image inside this doctor image folder. So we are going to say here doctor image, then slash, and we'll give 2-second bracket, and inside it we'll say dollar data arrow sign image. So let me just explain this a little bit. If you go to our database, you can see a lot of image over here. So it will get the specific image, and it will search for the specific image inside this folder and then show it. So let me also just mention the height and width. Let's say height will be on 50 and width will be on 50. So save it and let's refresh here. So here you can see the old image. So now we will have another option to change the image. So for it, let's go back to our code, and let me just mention a div over here, another div, and inside it we'll say add a label, it will be change image, and we'll have an input type. This time the input type will be file, and we also need to mention the name. Let's say name equal to file as well. And let me just copy this style, Control C, Control V, and we also require a submit button. So let me just copy this div, and here we are just going to say input type, it will be submit, and it do not submit button do not require any name, so we'll say here a class, bootstrap class, we'll say btn, let's say primary. So save it, and if we refresh now, here you can see the old image and a change image option and a submit button. So now let's go back to our code, and we'll directly go to our, here you can see form, our form started from here. So we need to mention the action, then the method, and we also need to say here enc type since we want to send file. So we will say multipart slash form minus data, and we also need to mention the at the rate of CSRF. So the method will be post since we want to update the data. So, and the action, we need to mention the action. So let's say URL here, URL, and we'll say, and let's say here just edit doctor, and we'll give a comma, and we'll mention the $data ID, $data ID. So now let's save it, and now we'll go to our route and create this URL. So let's go to our web.php, and let me just copy this on, Control C and Control V. Here we are going to say edit doctor, and our function name will be edit doctor, and we are also sending the ID. So now let's go to our admin controller, and let me just say here public function edit doctor, then we are going to mention the ID. So we'll say $id, and first of all we need to declare variable. Let's say here doctor, we need to get the specific doctor over here, so we'll say $doctor, then find, then we'll say $id, so we'll find the specific doctor. And after that, here you can see that we are sending the emails and a lot of other data. So for it we need to also mention the request over here. So we'll say request $request, then comma $id. So here let me just first of all get all the data like doctor name and phone number. So for it we just need to say $doctor, this arrow sign, then let me just show you the database. Here you can see we have the name, phone, specialty, room, and image. So over here we need to say the name that we have in the database, and then we need to say here request, this request, then arrow sign, and this request is actually this one, and we are actually requesting the data from our update Dr. Blade. And here you can see that the name is also name. So we are going to say name, and after name we have the doctor phone number, then specialty, and then the image. So let me just write all of them for, okay. So let's say here phone number, let's say phone, and after phone we have the doctor specialty, and after specialty we have the room number, and let's just say here room, and let me just save it. And I did not give the name for phone, specialty, and room in the update doctor view, so let me just change their name. Here you can see name, so this one is for phone, we'll say phone, and this one is for specialty, specialty, and name we have the room, so let's say name equal to room. Now for image we need to do it a little differently, so let me just here declare variable. Let's say $image equal to, we'll say $request, this arrow sign, file. So we are actually requesting the file from our update doctor.blade.php. Here you can see name is equal to file. So that file is now inside this image variable. Now here we are going to declare another variable. Let's say here $image name, image name is equal to time to first bracket, then we'll give a dot, then we'll give two single quotation, and inside this we need to give another dot, and after them we need to give another dot. Now we need to declare this mention this dollar image over here, so we'll say dollar image, this arrow sign, and we need to say get, then capital O original client, capital C CLI client extension, capital E extension. So let me just explain this line a little bit. That is, we are first of all getting the image, and we are actually changing that image name using a time function. So every image in the database will have a unique name. So after this we'll say, let me just copy this, Control C, and we'll say dollar request file, then this arrow sign, move to first bracket, and inside it we need to give the folder name, which was doctor image. So let me just say doctor image, and we need to give a comma, and at last we need to say this dollar image name. So let me just copy it and paste it. So what will happen is that the requested file will be moved to our doctor image folder, and its name will be this one. So, and at the end we just need to say this variable dollar doctor. So we'll say dollar doctor, this arrow sign, we need to say image. Now this image is coming from the database, obviously image variable, so equal to, we will just say dollar image name. So now only one thing is left, and that is dollar doctor save. And after saving the data, we want to stay on the same page, so we'll say return redirect, and it will be this arrow sign back, so it will keep us on the same page. Now there is one more thing, and that is the user may not always want to like change the image from here. So here we need to mention a if condition. We'll say if dollar image, and we'll give 2 second bracket, and let me just remove this, and this second bracket will end after this. And now this three line of code only get execute if the user want to change image. Like if the user give image over here, only then this three line will execute, otherwise it will not. So let me just save it, and let me just refresh over here. So now let me just change the doctor name from here. Let's say here Kevin, and let's change the room number to 704, and let me also change the, okay, let me just keep the image font now. And now if you click the submit button, okay, the post method is not supported for this route. So if you go to our route, okay, this method will be post. So let me say post and save it now, and let me just refresh, then click continue. So here you can see that doctor name is changed. If you go to our database and refresh here, you can see that the doctor name is changed. So now this time let's try to update the doctor image. So let's choose file, then I already download some doctor images. So let me just say here doctor, let's choose this one and click open, and if you click submit, so I did a mistake over here. I write get original client extension, so it actually will be get client original extension. So let me just go to our admin controller, and let me just say here get, and let me just say here get client original extension. So now let's save it, and now if we refresh, it should work. Here you can see that the doctor image is changed. So if you go to all doctors, you can see here the Dr. Luffy, then the phone number, specialty. So let me just also do one more thing, is that when the doctor changes their image, it will show us a message that doctor updated successfully. So for it, let me just I will just directly go to my add-doctor.blade.php, and over here you can see that a if condition. So let me just copy this if condition. So this if condition is for showing the message. So I will paste the if condition, let's say after this div class, Control V, and I'll go to our admin controller, and here return redirect back, we'll say with, and inside it we are going to say message, then comma, and here we'll say doctor details updated successfully. So now if we save it, and let me just go to our update doc, and let me just explain it. Here in the admin controller you can see that we say with message, and here in this if condition we are checking if there is any message. If there is any message, then we are showing the message, and we also have a button, close button over here, so that we can close the message. Okay, let me just have this if message condition after this div container, div class container. So control V, control S, and let me just click this on. Let's just change the image. Let's choose the sixth image. Let's click open, and if you click submit, here you can see doctor updated successfully, and here you can see the image is also changed. Now in this tutorial we are going to see how you can make email validation in Laravel. It means when you try to register, like if you give your name, then email and address and password, and if you click register, then our project will send you a email, and then you have to go to your that certain email, and there will be a link option over there or button type option. If you click that button, then your email will be verified, and only then you will be able to log in. If you do not verify your email, you won't be able to log in. So this is actually really simple than you can actually think. So for it we need to go to our code, and then first of all we need to go to our app. Then inside app we have models, and inside models we have our user.php. So if you go to our database, and if you go to our hospital and then users, here you can see that when someone registered, their name, email, everything is saved over here, and here you can see another field, email verified at, it is null. So right now what we are going to do, if someone register and if their email verified at is null, they won't be able to log in. So for it we just need to go to our models, then user.php, and here at the top you can see must verify email. So what we are going to do, let me just copy it, and here you can see class user extend authenticable. So we are going to say here implements, and after this we are going to say must verify email. So this one, and it's done. So you have to save it over here, then you have to go to your config, then you have to go to your fortify.php, and if you go down over here you can see features email verification, then you have to just remove this double slash from here, and then you have to save it, control S. So let me just close this one and this one as well. Now directly we'll go to our .env file, and here you can see that we have mail, mailer, then mail from name over here. So since we want to send email verification, so we also need to use a email. So using that email we are going to send email verification messages. So here mail mailer will be smtp, and mail host will be smtp.gmail.com, and we also need to give the mail port, which will be 465, and we want to give the mail username, which email you want to use to send verification email. So I'm going to use this email, yaminshakil7@gmail.com, and then you have to give your mail actual password. So I'll give my mail actual password, and once you give the password you need to give the mail encryption, which will be SSL, and mail from address, let's say this one. So user will see this, see that they receive a mail from this address, and let's say mail from name, let's say over here from hospital. So now let's save it, control S, and if you change anything in the .env, then you will notice that the environment modified restarting server. So I'll just say over here Control C, and again I'll say php serve and press enter. So if you change anything in the .env, you need to restart your server. So now there is one more thing that we need to do. Since we are using this mail, so we need to make some changes in this mail so that our mail can send verification emails. So for it, we need to go to that certain mail. Here you can see that over here my email name is yaminshakil7@gmail.com, and down here you can see manage your Google account. So you need to click this, and then you have to go to your security, and if you go down right now, you will see that let's secure app access, which is on. By default it is turned off, so you need to make it turned on. So once you have this on, you are ready to send email verification using this email. So now we just need to do one more change. We just need to go to our route, then web.php, and here you can see /home. So using this URL, we are actually sending the logged in user to their home. So here we are just going to give an arrow sign, then we'll say middleware, and we'll give two first bracket, and inside it we'll say auth, then after comma we'll give two single quotation, and here we'll say verified. So now if we save it, and let me just refresh over here, and now if we click register, and let's give a name, let's say Yahya Yamin, and let's give an email, let's say Yahya Yamin on@gmail.com, and let's give a random phone number, let's give an address, let's say Canada, and let's give a password, confirm password. And now if we just click register, here you can see that a text, thanks for signing up. Before getting started, could you verify your email? Now if I go to that certain email which is Yahya Yamin on@gmail.com, now let me just refresh over here. So here you can see we received an email from hospital, verify email address. So if I just click this verify email, here you can see it took us to our home page. So this was actually really easy. Now let me just go to our database, and if you just refresh over here, you can see that email verified at, there is a date over here that our email was verified at that date. So since we have our email verified on, so we won't be able to log in using user@gmail.com and using admin@gmail.com, because their value is null. So if you want to log in to this account, that is really simple. Just click edit, and over here you can see that email verified at, and there is a button type over here, date button type. Just select over here any date you want and just click go. So here you can see that email verified at. Let me just show you that the admin email verified at is null. So if we just try to log into our admin page, let me just try to log into our admin, and let's give the password. We won't be able to actually log in. It is showing us this view. So if you just go back, and if you just do the same for the admin as well, let's click edit, let's give the date over here, any date you want, and after it click go. And now here you can see that email verified at has an address. So now if we just try to log in from here, let's click the admin, and let's give the password, and if you click login, so here you can see this time we are able to successfully log into our admin dashboard. Now let me just try one more thing. Now let me just show you one more thing, that is forgot password option. If you just click login, and if you click the forgot password, it is telling us to give an email. Now let's say Yahya Yamin@gmail.com, and if you just click email password reset link, here you can see a message, we have emailed your reset password link. So now if you go to our email, and let me just refresh over here, So here you can see reset password notification, and if you just click this reset password button, so here you can see the email, then the password and the confirm password option. You can change your password from here. Let me just change my password, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and if you click reset password, it will reset my account password. So now we can just log in using that password. Let me just say that, yeah, here, let me try to log in. So there you go, we are able to successfully log in. Now let me just tell you just one more thing. People may get a little confused. Now if you just click confirm, forget your password, and if you just give any random username or any random gmail, gmail.com, and if you click email password reset link, it will show a message that we can find a user with that email address. That means that if you go to our database, you can see that we do not have that email over here, and that is why it is giving us a message. So this is for security reason. So this is all actually about this tutorial. So this tutorial is actually really simple, but if you still have any problem or face any problem doing email verification or reset password, then let me know in the comment section. I will give you the proper solution. Now in this tutorial we are going to have a send mail option in this appointment page, and if the admin click the send mail button from here, then it will take admin to another page where admin can write message to the user, and that message will be sent to the user's email. So for it, we directly need to go the views, then admin, then show appointment.blade.php, and if you go down here, you can see the approve and cancel button or cancel column. So let me just copy this table header, Control C, and I'll paste over here, and here I am going to say send mail, and we'll go down, and over here you can see a TD. So let me just copy this TD, Control C, and paste over here. Right now here we're going to say send mail, and let me just change the button class over here. Let's just say primary, and let me save it. Now we'll go to our browser, and if we refresh, we'll have a send mail button over here, as you can see. So when the admin click this button, it will take the user's or customer ID and take the admin to another page where the admin can write the message. So for it, let me just go back to our code, and here you can see appoint ID, and in the URL we are going to say let's say email, let's say email view. So let me save it, and we are also having a appoint ID over here. So let me just explain. If the admin click this send mail button, it will get the ID of this customer. So right now we need to create this URL email view. So let me just go to route, then web.php, and here we are just going to copy a route. Let me just copy this route get, Control C, then Control V, and it will be email view. Let's say email view. So we will also have the ID, and we need to also mention the function name. We'll say email view as well. Let me save it. Now we'll go to admin controller and create this email view. So directly go to app http controllers, then admin controller. Let me just go down, and here we are just going to say public function, let's say email view, and let's also send say over here $id, and inside it first of all we will return the view. So let's say return view, and inside it we are going to say admin dot, let's just say email underscore view. So so first of all we need to create this email view. So now we'll go to our admin folder, admin, then right click on it, and then click new file, and here we are going to say email underscore view dot blade dot php. So Control S and save. So I'm just going to copy some code from our let's say add doctor.blade.php. So from here, so let me just copy everything, Control A, Control C, and I'll paste everything in the email underscore view, Control V, Control S. So if you just refresh over here, and if we just click this send email button, here you can see it took us on a view, but there is no css over here, but you can see the input field over here. So let me just go back to our email underscore view, and we'll directly go at the top, and inside this head we are just going to say base. Then inside a shape we need to give slash public, we need to give slash public. If we miss the slash, then it will not work. So let me save it, and if we refresh now, you'll see a pop-up view. So over here you can see a pop-up view. So here you can see some input field and like select option and the image option, but we do not require everything. We'll just keep only few of them. So let me just modify it a little bit. So let me just go down, and here you can see name, phone number, and I'm going to just remove this select part. So let me just remove this div specialty part. So I'm going to remove this specialty. Then I am also going to remove this image part. So let me now save it, and let me just refresh here. So we have only three part. So in the mail we'll send our user a greeting, then a body part, then we'll have a give a action, like we'll also send the user a link so that the user can click it and like see various things by that using that link. And we'll also have like a regard option over here. So let me just modify it. Let's go back to our code, and here you can see doctor name. So let me just remove it, and we'll say here greeting, and here the name equal to greeting, let's say. And after greeting, let's say we have the mail body. So let's just say here body, and the name equal to body, it will be body, and the input type will be text. And after this, let me just remove the placeholder, and after body let's say we'll have a like action url, let's say action text. I will explain later what is action text. And let's say name equal to action text, and let me just copy this, Control C and Control V. Now this one will say action URL. So here name equal to action URL, and we'll write on more things. And let's just say over here the mail in part. So let's say in part, mail in part, and it will be text. And let's say name equal to int part. So let me now save it, and if we just refresh here, you can see we have greeting, then the body, mail body, action text, action URL, and the mail in part. So now we have the basic structure is ready to send our email. Now this is actually really basic. We just create some input field over here. So now in order to send email, we need to write some command, and over here you can see three command over here. The first command is php addition notification clone table. So if we run this command in our command prompt, then it will create a table in our migration. So now let me just copy this, Control C, and now we'll go to our project. Then let me just write over here cmd, and if we just paste it, php addition notifications clone table, and if we press enter, you can see migration created successfully. Now if you go to our code, and then if you go to our database, then migration, and inside it you can see a table, create notification table over here. So we do not have to modify anything over here. So once we run that command, run this command, we need to run the second command, which is php addition migrate. So let me just say over here, php artisan migrate, and if we press enter, it will migrate our notification table. So now if you go to our database and let me just refresh over here. So here you can see we have another table called notification. So if you just click it, you can see some data over here. So now we'll run the third command, which is php addition make notification my first notification. Now this is a name. Now you can give any name over here. So let me just go to our command prompt. So here I'm just going to say php artisan make clone notification. Then I will say, let's say our name will be send email notification. You can give any name you want. So if you press enter, you can see notification created successfully. Now if you go to our code and if you go at the top, you can see that inside our app you will find a new folder called notification, and inside this notification folder you have send email notification.php. Now here you can see that some mail related things, so we need to modify some things over here. So here first of all we are going to declare a variable and it's going to be private. So let's say private, let's say dollar. So let me say details, and after this inside this public function construct we are going to say dollar details, and inside this we are going to say dollar this arrow sign details equal to, let's say, dollar details. Now we need to go down, and over here you can see public function to mail notifiable, and after that we have return new mail message. Now here you can see line action line, only 3 input field, but you can have multiple of them. So let me just copy one of them, Control C, and let me just show you, Control V, and here we're just going to say, let's say greeting. So we are going to say in over here greeting, and let me just remove this line from here, and inside this first bracket we'll say dollar this arrow sign details, and we'll give two third bracket, and inside it let me just say greeting. So after greeting, let's just say over here, let's say this one will be for the body. So let me just copy this one, Control C and Control V, and here we are going to say in this variable body, and after body we have the action. Now in action the first one org as a text, action text, and the second one org as a URL. So let me just paste it over here, and we are going to say here action text, and after this we are going to give a comma, and we are going to paste the same things again, and this one over here will say action URL. Now the first one always in this action, the first one consider as a text, and the second one consider as a URL, and this is the last line. So let me just remove it, Control V, and instead of greeting let's just say in part, and let's save it, Control S. So now we'll go to our email underscore view.plate.php, and we'll go at the top, and here you can see a form action equal to some URL is given over here, and we do not require enc type over here. So we need to give a URL name over here, let's say here send email, and we also actually need to send the ID to which user we want to send this specific mail. So if we just go back to our browser, and if you go to appointments again, over here you can see that when we click the send email, we are coming over here. So we also need to catch that specific email ID. So for it we need to go to our admin controller again, and here you can see we are returning the email view from here. So let me just say here declare a variable over here. So let's just say dollar data is equal to our table name, which is appointment, then double clone, let's find dollar ID, and we're going to just say here comma compact, and inside it we are just going to say data. So over here using this id we are getting the specific user appointment and store it in this $data variable and sending that specific data to our email view. And if we go to our email view.blade.php, so we can just write over here $data, this arrow sign id. So now we can send that specific id to our specific route. So now we'll go to our web.php, and this time we'll copy this route, control C, control V. Now the route type will be post, since we want to send all those data to our controller. So now here we are just going to say in this URL we are going to say send email, and we also need to mention the function name. Let's say it will be send email as well. So let me save it, and this time we'll go to our admin controller again, and we are going to say here again public function send email, and we are going to say request dollar request, then we need to give a comma and then dollar id. So let's keep 2-second bracket, and first of all we will find the specific user. So let me just say over here again, let's just declare a variable $data is equal to appointment table double clone find, and inside it we'll say dollar id. And after this we need to declare another variable, let's say dollar details, then equal we need to give two third bracket, and then we'll give this semicolon over here, and inside this dollar details we are going to write some code. So first if you go to our send email notification, here you can see we declared some variable kind of thing over here. You can see greeting, then body, then action text, action url in part. So we are going to mention all those things in our controller. So we are going to just go to our admin controller and say over here greeting is equal to, and we'll say dollar request and this arrow sign. And if we now go to our email underscore view.blade.php, and here you can see the label greeting, and here you can see that name is equal to greeting. So whatever the admin write in this text, it will be sent uh, over here. So we are going to say greeting, and after greeting let me just check again, we have the body, action text, action url and in parts. So let me just copy this one, control C, and let me paste it 4 times, 1 2 3 4. So the second one will be body, so let me just remove it and directly say here body, and after body we have the let's say action text, and after action text we have the action url, and the last one was in part. Let's say here in part. Oh, I did a mistake over here. There won't be any semicolon, it will be actually comma. So let me just remove it, comma, and here comma as well, and we do not have to give any comma for the last part. And we also need to give a arrow sign after this equal. So let me just give this arrow, or you can say is greater than sign. So after this we need to say, so now here we need to say notification, and to double clone send, and inside this first bracket we need to set this $data. Here we just mention over here $data. So $data, then we need to give a comma, and after this we need to say new. And here you can see that our this file name is send email notification.php. so here we just need to say send email notification, and we need to give first bracket to first bracket, and inside it we need to say this dollar details, control C, then control V, and we need to end it with a semicolon. And since we are using a notification and also this send email notification, so we need to add them at the top. So here at the top we need to say use notification, and after this we will say use app backslash notifications backslash send email notification. So here you can see that we write app notification backslash email notification. If you go to app, then you will find the notifications folder, and inside notifications we have send email notification.php. So after sending the email, we want to stay on the same page, so we'll say return redirect to first bracket this arrow sign, let's say back. So let me just save it and let's go back to our browser and let me just refresh over here. And let's say we want to send them email to this email address. But before that, I just want to mention one more things. If you go to our .env, you can see that we have our mailer equal to smtp. We already set up our email over here. So in order to send email notification, you need to set up your .env mailer option over here. So you can see mailer equal to smtp, mail host equal to smtp.gmail.com. we have a mail port which is port 65, and we have a mail username which is shakil7 at the rate of gmail.com, and we have, and you also need to give the mail actual password, your mail actual password, then the mail encryption is ssl, and mail form address is actually same on as the username, and mail form name I mean what will be your the mail name. So from here we just write from hospital. So once you if you are using this mail, then you need to go to your mail, that certain mail, then here you can see yaminshakil7 at the rate of gmail.com. then you need to go to manage your Google account, and then you have to go to security, and if you go down here you can see less secure app access which is on. If it is not turned on, then you have to make it turn on. Okay, so by default it is turned off, so you have to have it on just like me. So once you have it, you will be able to send email notification. So let me just click over here, send mail. So here at the top you can see email view, and there is also a id which is 6. So here I am going to say in the greeting hi from me, in the body this is my Laravel email, and let's say in the action text subscribe this channel, and let me just copy this url. Now this is my channel, YouTube channel url, so I'll paste it over here, and let's say in part will be thanks for watching. Now if you click submit, it will send a mail to my that certain email. So it's saying that something is missing in our models, appointment model. So for it, let's go to our appointment. So let's go to models, then appointments, and here we need to use over here inside this class. We'll say use notifiable, and we also need to add one more line at the top. So let me just go to user.php, and over here we're just going to copy this line, use illuminate backslash notification backslash notifiable. So control C, and I'll paste it inside appointment model. So control V, and so let's save it. Now let's go back to our browser and let's just go back over here, and if you just click submit button, here you can see that the page reload is complete. Now if you go to our email, and if we here you can see we received an email notification, and if you click it, here you can see hi from me, this is my Laravel email body, and here you can see a subscribe this channel, a button option, and thanks for watching. And if we click this subscribe this channel, it will take you to my channel. Here you can see this is my channel, that this is the link I gave over there. So we should also show a message that the email is sent is successful. So for it, let's go back to our code and we'll go to our admin controller.php, and here we are just going to give this arrow sign. We'll say with, just like before we are going to say message, then we'll give a comma, and then here we'll say email send is successful. So let's save it, and we'll go to our let me just show you. We'll go to our email view.blade.php, and if you go at the top, here you can see we already copied this if session message part. Over here we have the message. If there's any message, then it will print out the message, and there is also a close button to close this message. So let me just save it again, and let me just refresh it over here, and let's over here just say hi from the hospital, and let's say you can come uh, tomorrow at 9 p.m. and let's say check out this link, and let's give the URL, and let's say thanks. Okay, so now if we click submit, we'll see a message over here, email send is successful. And if we go to our email again, and let me just refresh over here, you can see we receive another email. If you click it, you can see you can come tomorrow at 9 p.m. check out these links, and thanks. Now in this tutorial I'm going to talk about how to edit in this tutorial, and we'll also fix some issues or problem that we have in our project. So first of all, let's see how to edit in this tutorial. So here you can see that we have a navbar, we have a login and registration option over here. We use a template in this tutorial, and we also added those doctor images, their name and specialty from our admin dashboard. And if you go down here, you can see make an appointment. User can make an appointment from here even if he is logged in or not. Now let me show you what a logged in user can do. And here you can also see a register option. If a user can register by clicking here, you can see the user needs to give his name, email, phone number, address, and obviously some password as well. And here you can see we have a login option. User can log in from here, and if user forget his password, he can get the password by clicking forget your password. Then a email will be sent to user's email. So let me just log in to our user. Let's give the password, and if you click login, here you can see this is our user dashboard. You can see that a logged in user has an extra feature, and that is my appointment. And the user can also see his profile and also log out from here. And let me just create an appointment from here. Let me just click over here. Let's say name will be Yamin, and let's give a user email address. Let's say user@gmail.com. Let's give the date from here, and let's also select a doctor. You can see the doctor name here. If you go a little top, you can see the doctor over here. You can see the doctor name and the specialty. So here you can see that if you click it, you can see the doctor name and their specialty as well. So let me just choose this one, and let's just choose a number, phone number, so that the hospital can contact with you. And let's just enter a message. Let's just say check up for me, and if you just click submit request, it will show you a message that appointment request successful, will contact with you soon. Now if we go to our appointment, here you can see our appointment. Over here you can see that the date which we choose, and the message, and also the status is in progress. It means the admin needs to confirm the status. If the admin confirm the appointment, then this status will change from confirmed. So, and the user can also cancel their appointment by themselves. If the user just click cancel, it will show a message that are you sure to delete this. And if the user click OK, it will delete this appointment. Let me just show you. If I click OK, it will delete this. So now let's just log out from here, and let's go to our admin dashboard. So just let's log into our admin. Here we are going to say admin@gmail.com. Let's give the password, and let's click login. So here you can see this is our admin dashboard. Now if you click add doctor, it will take you to this page and you can add a doctor from here. Let me just add a doctor. Let's just say here Smith. Let's give a doctor phone number and let's click a specialty, let's say heart, and we also need to give a doctor room number, let's say 302 303, and you can also choose a doctor image. So let me just choose a image from here. We'll say doctor, let me just see. Okay, here is a doctor image. If I just click open, here you can see doctor6.jpg. now if you click submit, it shows a message doctor added successfully. Now if you just go to all doctors, here you can see all the doctor over here. Now the admin can update or delete the doctor. If your admin just click delete, and if the admin click OK, this doctor will be deleted. Now the admin want to like update their data or anything, admin just need to click the update button. It will take admin to a different page with that data. You can see the doctor name, the phone number, the specialty and the room number, and it is also showing us the old image, and admin can also change their image from here as well. Let's just say the change the mobile number, let's just say 000, just a random number, and if the admin click submit, here you can see doctor details updated successfully. If you go to all doctors, here you can see that the phone number is changed and we still have the old image. Now let's go to appointments, and if you go to appointments, the admin can see the customer name, then their email address, here you can see, then admin can also see the customer phone number, then the doctor name, which state they want to visit a hospital, and also the message. And here you can see the status is in progress. Here we have two buttons, approve and cancel. Admin can cancel the appointment, also approve their appointment. If the admin click approved, here you can see that the status is changed to approved. And then after that, admin can also send the email to the user. Over here you can see we have a send email button over here. If the admin click send email, it took us over here this page. You can say any message. Let's just say hi from the hospital. Let's say in the body you can come tomorrow at 9, and let's also say admin can also give any link if the admin on. Let me just copy say over here, and let me just copy this URL and I'll paste it over here. And in the in part, let's just say thanks, and if the admin clicks submit button, here you can see it is reloading and it will send an email to that specific user. So here you can see email sent successfully. Now if we just go to that certain mail, so here you can see that this email is yahiayamin@gmail.com, and if that user open this mail, here you can see that hi from the hospital, you can come tomorrow at 9, check out this link, and at the end thanks. If someone click this link, it will open that link. Over here you can see google.com. So this is everything we did in this project. Now this project is really simple. If you are a beginner, or if you want to like create a project for your university, or if you want to learn Laravel, then this is the perfect project for you. I tried to explain everything in this project, so you will have the basic idea how to create a project in Laravel, and it will help you improve your growth a lot if you complete this project. Now let me just fix some issue that we have in our project. Now first of all, let's just log out from here. And here you can see that we are right now is not logged in. Now if you go down, you can see that the image size is equal, but when we log in, let me just log in. Let's just go to user, let's keep the password, and if you click login, here you can see right now we are logged in. And if you go down here, you can see that the image size is changed, their length height is not same anymore. So in order to fix this, we will directly go to our code, and we need to go to our user folder. Then if you go to home, you can see that our home page actually inherit this user.doctor page. So we'll directly go to doctor.blade.php, and over here you can see from here we are actually showing the image. So here you can see height equal to 300 px. So we are just going to remove this, and we'll just say here style, and inside this style we'll say height, let's say 300 px, and after this 300 px we'll say important. So it means if we give this important, it means whatever the css applied for the height, it doesn't matter, the image height always will be 300 for this. So if we save it now and if we refresh, here you can see all the image height is right now same. Okay, now this is on thing. Now let me just click this my appointment over here. Now if we click home, if we want to go to our home page, it doesn't take us to our home page, or if you just click over here on health, it should take us to our main page. So we need to fix this as well. So for it, we again just directly go to our home.blade.php. Then if we go down here, you can see the on health. This is actually the this on. So in this href, we are just going to set 2 second bracket and we'll say URL and 2 single quotation and then slash. Now if we save it and let me just refresh over here, and now if you click this on health, but okay, if we click it, okay, it doesn't work. I think my appointment has a separate page. So let's go to my appointment.blade.php. And over here you can see that we have a separate on health over here. So I'm just going to remove this hash and going to say the same thing over here. I'm going to say URL and inside this single quotation just a slash. Now if we just save it and if we just refresh over here and let's just click this on, here you can see it took us to the home page. Now let's also do the same for this home. So let's go to our let me just, here you can see we are right now in my appointment.blade.php. so here you can see home. So we are just going to remove this and give 2 second bracket, then we are going to say URL. We are going to write the same thing. Let's save it. Now we'll go to our user, then home.blade.php, and we are going to say the same thing over here as well. Let's say here URL and inside single quotation just a slash. Now if we save it and if we refresh, now if you click home, it will keep us on the same page. Now let's go to my appointments, and if we click home, it will take us to home. So this is one issue that is solved. Now let me show you another issue that we have in our project. Now let me just go to route, then web.php. Now if we go down here, you can see add doctor view. This is actually for the admin. You can see we use admin controller. Now if we just let me just copy this, Control C, and if we just paste it over here, Control V and press enter, you can see that it took us to the admin page, which isn't correct. So we need to fix this. So for it, we'll directly go to our admin controller, and over here let me just check the web.php, and here you can see that its function name is add view. So here you can see add view. So we are just going to give a condition over here. First of all, we'll check if there is any auth. So we'll say auth double clone id. So if is there any auth id, it means is there any user is logged in. Then we'll give 2 second bracket, and after this we are going to check the user type, whether it is admin or user. So for it, we need to give another if condition over here, and we'll say auth double clone user to first bracket this arrow sign, then we'll say user type, then equal on. Now in the database on we already mentioned that on means admin and 0 means user. So let me just show you again just to be sure. If you go to our user, here you can see 0 and on means admin. So if there is user type is on, only then we can return this view, Control V. Or if the user type is not on, else, then we'll go to else condition. Else let's just say return redirect. Will stay on the same page, return redirect back. And if there is no auth id, so for it we need to also give a else condition. We'll give a else condition. We'll say return, let's say return redirect, and we'll return to login page. So now let's save it. And okay, now since we are using auth over here, so we also need to add auth at the top. So here let me just go to our home controller.php, and I'll copy this use illuminate backslash support backslash packet backslash auth, and I'll paste it inside admin controller at the top. So Control V, Control S. Now let me just refresh over here, and if you right now see over here add underscore doctor underscore view and press enter, it will not take us to that admin view. And so we also actually need to do the same for our other view over here as well. So it is really simple. Let me just do it for two of them so that you can understand it easily. So let's just copy this if, this second bracket, and this if condition, Control C, and here let's do this show appointment part. Now here let me just go to our route, and here show appointment. Let's see here you can see show appointment. Now if we just say here show appointment, and if we press enter, here you can see it again took us to this page. So now what we are going to do, we'll just go into admin controller.php, and here after this second bracket we are going to copy that, paste that code that we copied. Here you can see if auth id and the if condition, and if the user type is on, then only return this view, otherwise not. So I need to close this if. So we'll give a second bracket over here, and if the user type is not on, it means if the user type is 0, it means the admin, then return redirect back, return redirect to first bracket arrow sign back. We also need to in this if condition, which will in over here. So now we'll say here else return redirect, and we'll return redirect to login. Let me just explain it again. First of all, we are checking if there is any auth id. If there is auth id, then we'll check the user type is if the user type is on, it will take this admin view, and if the user type is not on, then it will stay on the same page. And if there is no logged in user, then it will directly go to this else condition, and then it will show us a login view. So now if we save it, now let me just say over here show appointment, and if we press enter, it will keep us on the same page. So you also need to do the same for the rest of the function over here, and we also need to do for the home controller as well. Let me just go to home controller, and let me show you for home controller as well. So here you can see we already did this for the redirect, and here let me just do this for, and here let me just we just have to do it only for my appointment part over here, you can see. So here we already write a auth condition, so we just need to give only on if condition inside this if. So here we just need to find out the user type, whether it is admin or user. So it's a auth double clone, will say user to first bracket, this arrow sign will say user type equal if the user type is equal 0, because we want to return a view for user right now. So we'll give 2 second bracket, and inside it let me just copy everything over here, Control X, and I'll paste it inside them, Control V. So now let's save it. So this is all about this tutorial. So this is how all the issue is solved in our project, and I tried to make this tutorial as easy as possible. But if anyone face any problem or any confusion or any error, then let me know in the comment section, and also let me know how much you like this tutorial, what was your experience about this tutorial. And if you like this project or tutorial, and if you want to learn more Laravel, then subscribe this channel, because I upload Laravel related video every day. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned and stay healthy.